And we are back. Couch Company Podcast. I'm John. With me as always, and still here, Tyler.
Hola.
That's hello
In Portuguese?
in Spanish. And Portuguese.
Do they speak Spanish there?
They speak Portuguese.
What's the...
By the way, I went to Portugal. That's why Tyler's starting
That's what
with
I was
this.
trying to do.
Oh,
Is that not... I'm sorry.
Baseball reference.
I'm sorry. Curveball?
Yes.
Where you think it was going straight, and then I curved it around your bat. To be fair, the number one sport in Portugal. You think it would be
soccer.
Football? Please, football.
Football?
I don't know. How much of Portuguese is in Spanish and vice versa?
So there's
like
a decent amount, but I actually thought it was closer related than it actually is. So there are some stark differences.
So I'm just being offensive then.
No.
Is hola hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So as far as the listeners know,
yeah, exactly.
I am fluent.
That's why
in Portuguese.
Well, sure. After those lines of questioning, yeah, absolutely, they're fold, man.
Adios.
I don't. I'm not good enough to honestly.
All right. I mean, you were there forever.
I was there for like a week.
It's been so long.
Yeah, but the listeners wouldn't know that because they've been listening to us every Monday.
Every week.
But yeah, I was there for a week, and dude, what a beautiful country.
You sent me a picture.
Yeah, I never post anything on my Snapchat story, but I was like, okay, maybe a little culture, like prove to people that I'm a little cultured, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And put some views up on there. So yeah, we went all over the place, and it was really great. Portugal is really interesting because, well, it's on the coast, which automatically makes it like pretty gorgeous. But just Europe in general, dude, is just so old. Like nothing here is that old. Like our country's what, like 300 years old? Not even?
301 because July 4th.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like 200 something. But anyways, it's like things over there, they're like ancient Roman structures that are just thousands of years old. It's just mind blowing.
Yeah.
So it's just really, I always really like the history of places. And I was actually telling the research department this, but for some reason being over there really ignited my passion to play Civ again. Because I see all these ancient things and I'm like, oh, I remember building that in Civ.
I would love to put the pyramids in Portugal. That would be fun.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So anyways, things are just really old there. So it's always really interesting. Like you go to these cathedrals that are just hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
That's always super awesome. So anyways, I started out in Porto, which is the second largest city in Portugal. And it literally just means, it's called O Porto, which translates to the port. So their city is pretty much just called Port.
Super on the nose.
Yeah,
there.
Exactly, right? So
the nose, as they say.
Yeah, no. But man, such an amazing city. And it kind of reminds me of Pittsburgh a little bit because there's a million bridges there. Just like Pittsburgh, city of bridges. So that's always pretty interesting. And the one very interesting thing, so I ended the trip in Lisbon. And you know about like the Lisbon earthquakes, right? That like completely destroyed everything. Porto is not affected by that.
How close was it?
Not very close.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't affected by it.
Sure. Gotcha. All right.
And so what I mean by this, what's interesting about it is it still has its really old architecture and structure to the city, which is vastly different than Lisbon, which was like almost completely rebuilt. Like 90% of the city was
just leveled. And yeah.
So it's much more modern. So yeah, I don't know. Like the cities over there is totally different than our big cities. Like our big cities are just super vertical, like skyscrapers and super cluttered together. And there's like much more spread out, lower level housing and stuff. You know what I mean? Like super old school architecture, at least in Porto. But yeah, the rivers are beautiful. The food was great. The seafood over there is like very good.
I guess that makes sense. So would you put it on like the same level as like not same level, but like Florida, it's just, that's all you eat there. It's just seafood and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I think your best bet is probably go seafood there. I mean, like the livestock's pretty good too. Like I know my brother had some really good lamb, and Definitely some other things that are good, but I think it's known for more of the seafood stuff. So they're known for sardines and sea bass.
With a name like the Port.
The Port. But anyways, yeah, so that was the first leg. The second leg, we stayed in the Douro Valley region, which is like vineyards.
Yeah.
So wine. So we stayed on a vineyard. I think that was my favorite spot. It was like so beautiful. They had an amazing pool, and it was like there was like 30 rooms, so it's not crowded.
So were you with other people then, or like so it's 30 rooms?
Yeah, I mean I had my own room, but
no, I know.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is like, was it just your family renting out like a, for lack of a better term, like Airbnb that had 30 like you?
No, it's like a hotel rooms.
Okay, so it's like a bed and breakfast type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But super small scale. It's like not super crowded.
Yeah.
So we did a wine tour there. Portugal is known for port wines, so it's a specific type of wine. I love the port stuff there.
Porto wine.
Well, it's like how champagne is specifically France. So you can have other kinds of champagne, but it's not actually champagne, right? It's like sparkling.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very pretentious.
It's like, it's barbecue, but it's not.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
So it's the same thing for Portugal. Port wines are specifically from Portugal and I think that region.
Did it still taste terrible?
No, it was amazing. It was so good.
You like wine? Real wine.
I like good wine.
Has to be real wine.
I've never been a wine guy.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've never been a wine guy. I was even complaining to my family. I was like, "Oh, this is so pretentious." Like they're talking to it's interesting.
Yeah.
Like the process on how they make wine and stuff is really interesting. How they ferment it and everything. And they like actually stomp the grapes over there.
Sure,
it's a whole thing.
Yeah,
very traditional. So I'm like, this is like whatever. But then we got to the wine. I was like, this is actually pretty good. So they have a specific kind of wine called a Port Tawny.
Okay.
Which is a dessert wine. It's like very sweet. It literally tastes like a candy bar. It's amazing. It's so good.
What kind of
like
a cherry candy bar or grape candy bar?
No, like a caramel.
What?
Yeah. It's
okay.
so you have to try this. You have to try it. Maybe I'll order us a bottle of
a bottle of.
It would be like a couple $100,
Tawny.
But
yeah.
It'd be worth it. It's so, dude, I couldn't describe to you how good this is.
Tell you what, if we can get it, so can you import it like easily?
Yeah. I still have the catalog they gave us, so we can look at the prices.
Yes.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Here we go. We set up Game of the Year.
Okay.
We order in some nice Port Tawny.
I forget if it's Port or Port Tawny or Tawny Port.
Tawny Port.
One of the
Tawny Port sounds even better.
I sound so white saying it, but it's so good.
We get that in.
Yeah.
And
wow, it's so. What year do you want? There's a 10, 20,
buddy,
30, 40 year.
You are the Portuguese expert.
So if you want to go fucking fancy, fancier than what my dad did, we go 40 year.
Yeah.
Be like $250, $300. And then
I'll split it with you. I don't care.
So you're just saying we drink it for the game in our tuxes and everything?
In our tuxes. Let's see where we're at with the old studio and stuff. That would be amazing.
That'd be awesome.
If we could
like
a
whole production.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't think it's gonna get there in time.
No, absolutely not. Zero chance, but a man can dream.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was the second leg, and then we went to Sintra, which
you did a whole thing in a week. Like that's a
there's
lot
four,
of
There's 4 legs to the trip.
Oh
yeah, no, I'm telling you, it's like, dude, we were doing things.
Dang.
I'll try to hurry this up. I've been doing this segment for a while.
Do you like that? Do you like having it's like, okay, you're doing this, okay, now you're doing this. So it's not like a relaxing trip per se. I mean, you have the pool and you're drunk off port, but besides that, it's like you're constantly knocking things out. Like, do you prefer something like that, or do you prefer just? No,
I like a good balance. I like activities. I definitely like activities. So I know that our last friend trip, for example, was 0 activities and just the pool, which was amazing, and I do like that. But then this was the flip side of that. This was just activity straight, and I like probably the perfect trip is somewhere in the middle where you have things you want to do, like to a place that you're going, and you're intentional about it, but also like a day to just sit at the pool sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So I was exhausted by the end of the trip.
I can imagine. What's the flight? How many hours?
Like 7. 7 hours. Not too bad. Not too bad. But it does suck when you're coming back, and you come back and you gain hours. So you go over and you lose hours. So it gets really weird time wise, and you're jet lagged. But yeah, it was an amazing trip. The last 2 legs, Sintra, which is a very touristy section, and the main kind of attractions there are these beautiful palaces they still have from the king and queen are there. So they don't have a king and queen anymore or whatever, but they did, and I couldn't even imagine being like royalty, like
just in general.
Yeah, it's like insane. Like they're on this mountain overlooking their kingdom, and it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It was built like hundreds of years ago. Like I don't know. I was just like sitting there thinking the whole time, like they had to carry all the materials up this mountain.
Yeah.
For some dude who.
Well, I mean, I sent you the video about like the whole, like gravity and whatnot. How you could theorize how it was less back then, so it was easier to build things.
Oh, did you send me that?
Yeah.
No, you did not.
Yeah, I did.
Cheeseburger?
Yeah. It was a joke video, but yeah, it was.
Anyways, and then the last was Lisbon, which is the capital, biggest city.
Is there Lisbon, Australia? There's got to be, right?
Is there?
I don't know. Continue. Sorry.
I don't think so.
I'm going to look it up.
All right.
Because every time you say Lisbon, in my mind, I put Australia next to it.
That's
every time.
Really strange.
It's stupid.
There might be. Not that I know of, though. Yeah, that was the capital, the biggest city. Very touristy as well. But cool to see all the sites there, too.
I mean, it sounds like, so I guess you have all the sites, you have the tourist traps, you have, that sort of thing. But generally speaking, you're just speaking English.
Yeah, so like, most people speak English, not super, super well. I mean, it depends on who you're talking to, but you can definitely get by there just speaking English. But the people are just so nice. Like, everyone's so nice. So, like, you'll figure it out. It's like, dude, they'll always help you. It was super awesome. I didn't run into a single person. Like, sometimes you go to a different country and they're like, they scoff at you. You're a tourist, obviously, whatever. Yeah. They're just like super happy you're there. Cool, yeah. It's pretty sweet.
I was watching, this is kind of off the language thing, but you know how we're a type 0 civilization? Like, there's a bunch of different types of civilizations.
Yeah,
different things
space
like that. Space and whatnot.
Like, what type is having sex with an Asari? Type 1?
No, that'd be type 3?
No way.
I think type 3.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was. I thought there was like 2 types.
There are 7. Depending who you talk about. No so 7 is God.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. That's not a civilization.
Well, no, you are so beyond that you are godlike. You're like a deity. You would create universes at that point.
Nah, man.
Anyway, we're type 0. Type 1
we're
is
type 7 by that logic.
Species. We can move to a.
We create.
No, it has to be otherworldly. Like, we are so focused on just this world.
How do we know that the games we create?
Yeah.
Those entities in the game don't have consciousness. They just don't have any free will.
I mean, we don't, I guess.
Exactly. So we could be type 7. And you think we're at 0.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You're lowballing us.
We are 0 in our consciousness. But all that being said, whenever we go into type 1,
sure,
which is now you're colonizing
space
planets, but within our like solar system, right? Like, so we're moving off of our planet, going to the next planet.
Yeah.
I think, and I would have to look it up. I think type 2 is now you're colonizing your like actual like galaxy. Like, you're multi-planetary thing. Anyway,
what if we get colonized?
Yeah. Oh, then we're boned. But that's
then
where the Asari
still
comes in. Yeah. Like, they kind of knock us back to the.
Well, I mean, look, the first contact war was Turians, but we survived.
Yeah.
Which we shouldn't have. They should be embarrassed. They should be embarrassed.
They should.
We're just some cavemen, stick wielding, throwing rocks and feces.
Yeah, just metal together and going out into the stars. All that being said, they theorized that English would be the language.
English is going to be common.
Correct. So, like, when you're talking like basic in Star Wars or common in
D&D,
like
English is going to be
because a lot of people do it. That's why I was asking if they spoke English there.
Well, actually, I think in Mass Effect or Star Trek or one of those two, there's like everyone just has a translator, I think. So I don't think there is.
Yeah, Star Wars is basic.
Basic.
Basic is English in Star Wars. That's how
I know in Star Wars there's a basic, but in like Star Trek or one of the two,
that would be
They speak their own language,
Yeah.
but there's just everything. Everyone has a translator.
it's more politically correct, I assume, rather than trying to force everyone to do English.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you have the technology, why
Yeah,
learn a different?
I don't know why I went on that. Chelsea's been gone for a week too, so
All right.
like I've been in just
Stewing.
weird areas.
Yeah.
Like you talk about everything being old. I was watching what happened to the Bronze Age.
Yeah.
Like just gone. Dark Ages. Like
Yeah.
earthquake. All these kingdoms are just writing to each other about like the sea people are killing us.
Jesus Christ. And you think we don't live in the best time ever?
No, when did I? No, well, I'm talking like a couple decades. I'm not talking. This is 2000 BC.
You're always like, oh, dude, like look how far we've fallen. We're just the worst.
I
It's like,
think
dude,
we're on the
no
precipice.
way.
So okay, so here's the thing. Going back to the types of civilizations.
7 of them.
Type 1 civilization. You got 2 options. One, you're just extinct. You wipe yourselves out. Or 2, you essentially pass the test, if you will, and then you move on to the next civilization or the next level. So to get to level 1, we have to not kill ourselves.
Yeah.
But
But
that's
that's
the scary
anything.
thing.
That's literally anything.
Well, it's between 100 and 300 years is what they're theorizing, right? That's enough time for us to get everything together, colonize. Let's say, for sake of argument, like we're going to go to Mars and colonize Mars or whatever. It's going to be between 100 and 300 years. So it's like, think about all the stuff going on with AI. Think about all of the, what's the type of computer processing that's like you're doing it on like atoms. Okay.
Asking the wrong guy,
basically,
man.
it's like the next level of supercomputer. It's like whatever you think you can do on a computer, it's like a calculator compared to what you can process on the next level of computer power. Anyway, I was watching a bunch of guys like talking about it and different things like that, and like basically they're all saying like we just need to merge with it because you have 2 options: either the AI is going to just murder you and wipe you out eventually, or you merge with it and stay control.
Why?
What do you mean why?
Why is the AI going to wipe us out?
We just don't need it. Like they don't need us. So like if they can think through everything and do everything and whatever just to do stuff, like what purpose do humans have at that point?
We don't need dogs.
Well, yeah, sure. We'll become pets.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's like
yeah, I'll sign up. Dude, my dog lives fucking great.
that's that's
My
that's
dog
actually
lives
fair.
great. Sign me the
Is
fuck
that
up.
the missing thing where
Sign me up,
where
Tyler.
it turns into we create
I have an AI that loves me
to create
and
a utopia.
and yeah,
Yeah.
I think we might have just had a breakthrough.
Oh man, yes, it's not bad.
That's the pretty positive.
I just don't think. I mean, humans aren't wired like that. We want to be.
No, we
neutral.
don't.
We
No,
want to be
that'll
the top
be-
dog,
that'll-
and we aren't.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
gonna be rough. But what if we unlock all of our brain and we're actually like all super? It's like maybe we're Krypton. You know?
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
even if we use the max capacity of our brain, you can't beat. It's like quantum processing, like quantum computers
Sure.
and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you can't beat that.
You might if you're
Like
Superman.
they're talking like you'll like
Superman can beat
cancer
that.
gone, disease is gone, because it will literally just process more than we could ever hope to do in our lifetime
Yeah.
in like seconds. So it's
Sure.
just like, what problem do you want? Sure, here you go, and it just knocks it out.
And we run into the Turians, man. It's gonna be.
That's
rough.
what I mean. But like,
gonna be a rough one.
think about it. Like that's close. That's not. I mean, it's not our lifetime, but like our grandkids have a shot. Like that's scary. That's nuts to think.
Yeah.
Anyway, and
No, I'm
that's
with you.
early. Obviously, it could be great. But
I'm
like,
a very day by day guy, so I don't really care.
I like to drink my port in the pool.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I went on a tangent when you're talking
No,
about
I
Portugal.
think
that's awesome.
You
though.
need to get some more human interaction.
Yeah. I've been lonely.
I'm kidding, buddy. No, it's an interesting thought experiment, but I totally lost my train of thought. Seeing all those ancient structures and stuff makes me appreciate what we've done thus far on Earth as humans, good, bad, and indifferent.
But it's amazing how all of that stuff is still like standing.
Well, I was looking at it, so I was like, oh man, this stuff's really cool and old and awesome. And I was like, it would be a great bucket list. I went on to like the Civilization Wikipedia, like the game.
Yeah.
And you know how you can build the world wonders?
Yeah.
I'd be like, what if you were able to see all the wonders? So I was like going down the list, like seeing where they're located at and like seeing how many you can knock out per trip.
Doable?
The problem is the first like 10 don't exist anymore.
What do you mean?
So you have Stonehenge.
Yeah.
And you have the Great Pyramids.
Yeah.
Those are the only two from the first, like the ancient.
Grand Canyon isn't a wonder?
Well, that's a natural wonder. So there's man-made wonders and there's natural. So the great statue of Zeus is gone.
Completely?
Hanging gardens are gone.
Completely?
Yes.
Okay.
There's like a ton of things that are gone. There's I wrote it down, but there's a million, not a million, but there's a lot, like especially in the ancient civilization, because like you were saying, in the Bronze Age, they just razed each other's cities and destroyed all this beautiful. Like there was a temple of Hermes. Gone.
Atlantis.
Maybe there. But anyways, yeah, I think it'd be super cool. And I was like, man, how many wonders have I been to? And I think the answer is 2 at least. Because Broadway's a wonder.
What?
Which I've been to, yeah. And Alhambra. I think that's what it's called.
Broadway?
Yeah, yeah.
Why? You're saying Broadway is basically the pyramids?
Of the modern day, sure.
Oh, so how is that classified? Do you have modern day wonders?
Yeah. Every era has like several wonders in it.
Yeah.
So Broadway is
a
like
wonder. You gotta like put in for it.
The game.
Guinness Book.
I think they recognize.
Oh, I see
amazing
what you're saying.
Human achievements.
So Broadway is a wonder on the game, but if I typed in like wonders of the world, Broadway's not going to show up.
No, there's like 7 wonders of the world. I think the
right.
pyramids aren't even one of the wonders. The pyramids are like the 8th,
the new one,
entry.
The 9th one.
Well, I think the pyramids are one of the ancient wonders because there's 7 ancient wonders and then there's 7 current wonders.
And they put Sphinx as separate.
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
No, I don't think so. But all the ancient wonders are gone.
You know, Egypt was the only one that wasn't wiped out during the Bronze Age.
So my brother was talking to me about conspiracy theories here. So he thinks, I don't know if he thinks this, but he read about...
No, he absolutely does.
No, I don't think
Which
so.
brother? Younger?
My older brother.
Older brother?
He read about how there's a theory that the Egyptians were an advanced civilization. Mm-hmm. So not aliens, but they were just advanced. And they had a lot more technology than we realized, and it manifested itself in a very different way than how we view technology today. So we think about like computers and electronics today as technology, but they had very different kinds. He didn't really go into it too much, so I don't know exactly what kinds, but like that's how they were able to do that much stuff. I mean, you just look at that shit, and it's like the mathematics that they had was insane, like so ahead of everyone else. It's like crazy.
When you look
strange.
at that and like Ryan Holmes can't put together, a staircase,
right?
That's
amazing.
Like templated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's that's insane. I
think humanity's gonna be fine. We're always the underdogs, man. I love where we're at. I love where we're at. We're exactly where I want to be.
Humanity, I think, is going to be fine. It's just, can humanity... when you say fine, we're going to survive. I believe you there.
We're the cockroaches of the universe.
Yes. Sure.
100%.
But can we survive and ascend is the real question.
Ooh.
And I don't know if that's a thing, because what's going to happen is you have... And I say extinct, but like... our way of life would become extinct, and we would need to rebuild, rethink, redo whatever, right? So like nuclear war, asteroid hits us, solar
here's the thing,
flares,
dude.
Whatever, like,
even if it's one of those cataclysmic events, so like we turn into Fallout, pretty much. Yeah, we're still way ahead of the game compared to.
Or we go underground, or we turn, or it
like
knocks
Fallout.
us back to pre-phone internet days.
Yeah, but
and
like
stuff.
It's like, okay, it's like this. Like when you go to the gym and get strong, and then you take a bunch of time off, it's easier to get back to where you were than when you never reached it before.
Sure.
So it's going to be the same for civilization. If we get knocked back to the Stone Age, the fact that we've been to where we're at now makes it vastly easier because we know what it takes.
But how long do you... so let's say internet, cell phones, let's say like electricity wiped out.
Sure.
how long do you think it takes us to get back? When you have zero ways to communicate and like even like
a generation,
at least.
I think one generation.
I'm
back.
thinking, so 100 years?
Yeah.
You think? Okay. I'd agree with that.
I think it's just a matter of we just need the time to build the infrastructure again. Because we know what to do.
People realize like after 30 years, like because you got to think like kids are born during that period who've never known it.
Yeah.
Can they comprehend what their parents are trying to explain to them of like, no, there was this device. You could talk to everybody. Like it was and just like a kid.
I don't know. It's like, do you believe in the collective unconscious, right?
Yeah. I don't.
It's just like shared experience where it's kind of like, I feel like there's a degree of that just because of.
There was a UFO guy who's going through all his like UFO sightings and stuff. And I forget what video he was working on, but he was talking about like one of the interactions was these girls met like an alien and it was communicating with them telepathically and different things like that. And he was like, okay, what's it saying? What's it feeling or whatever? And they said it was scared and that it felt sorry for humans because they didn't know we didn't know who we were. And I was like, man.
I don't believe in any of the alien stuff. I don't think aliens have ever been here.
Nothing?
No. Nothing
at all?
No.
I mean, it's completely fair. I just like, it's interesting with that kind of stuff.
Like name another thing that's like, so, I mean, there's like a couple things that we really don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But I feel like we can always piece together things. And that's like one area where it's like, I don't know. And I'm not an expert in this, so I know there's a lot of people like, dude, you gotta watch the blah, blah, blah. It's like, look, I totally get it.
You listen to people talking about it that are like, this is their life.
Yeah.
And like, it's hard not to get swept up in
100%. And I think there's a element of it though that like people want it to be true.
Yeah.
And so like when you're arguing for it, you're going to be biased one way or the other. Mm-hmm. I'm the worst person to talk about it because I have zero interest in it and I don't.
You're a man of faith, right? Like you believe in God?
Yeah.
I shouldn't say man of faith. You know what I mean?
Man of faith.
We were raised fairly similarly.
Yeah.
So like the presence of aliens, let's say government's like, oh yeah, by the way, Roswell, sure. Yep, we got him. Like this is it.
The theory right now is all this alien stuff's coming out.
In Brazil?
What?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The theory right now is all this alien stuff's coming out because they're trying to distract from AI being like we're already fucked.
Well, I mean, we've talked about that. Yeah, and you got to find the news cycles and pointing the eye and pointing the blame and yeah.
Sorry, go ahead though.
No. I'm just saying, like, if they were to unveil this, of like, oh yeah, aliens are real or whatever, like, how does that just shake the foundation of?
I think
everything.
I think at first it's shocking.
Yeah,
but humans are so, especially these days, we adjust to things so quickly that time will go by and it'll be like, okay, yeah, aliens exist.
Oh no,
you know what I mean? Like,
I think we'd accept it. I'm not saying that, but I just think from there are certain people that have such a firm like, no, this is truth. This is how things are. This is like, so like when you're talking about all of these, like you talk about the Bible and all the different religions and stuff, and it's like aliens are nowhere in there, right? Or they could be, you know, you look at Revelation, you can kind of start drawing parallels of like, oh, what if they were talking about flying saucers?
Don't you always talk about the Tower of Babylon?
Well, no, I mean, the Tower of Babel is one of them, but then the
Babel,
Sodom and Gomorrah, we were talking about how that.
You think it's all aliens or whatever?
They got nuked,
yeah.
There's a big space battle, it got nuked, and that's why they turned to pillars of
maybe
salt.
it's all hidden messaging.
No, it's one of those, like, I personally would be interested in, like, what my parents would say, what my, you know, church's pastor would, how is a, you have to lead a congregation the next day. They announced it Friday, 3 p.m. Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, aliens are real.
Yeah.
What the heck do you say that Sunday?
I don't.
It's rhetorical.
I
I don't know. That's crazy, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So now
it's unprecedented.
You either have to start flying through those pages of the Bible, either saying like how not meaningless, but like how like trivial it is compared to, you know, the universe. Or you have to start drawing parallels to like, oh, well, he's saying this, but now suddenly the Bible gets very metaphorical and stuff. I would love to see how that kind of reality would then shape how everything. Like,
Sure.
I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know, man.
This wasn't on our list of things to talk about.
No,
you were talking about Portugal. I'm sorry.
I was. Well, Portugal is run by the aliens.
Yeah, clearly.
So everyone knows. They're too nice there.
Yeah.
Totally lost my train of thought after that one. That was a doozy. I could tell it was pent up.
Trip. Buddy, I've been alone. Let it out. I've been alone for a week.
I'm here for you, man. Yeah. Let it out. Tell me about all the things you think are happening, what the government's lying to us about.
The government is absolutely lying to us. We just have no idea about what. Probably everything.
I disagree with this take so much. I think the government are idiots.
No.
I think they are 100%, man.
I'm not saying I'm not saying the government isn't idiots from like an efficiency standpoint or something like that, but like I'm saying the people that are pulling the strings, like they know, like there's stuff going on.
My uncle thinks it is moved from the government to industry.
Sure. And
now the big companies like run everything, which I could believe more.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, dude, I just think like I was in the shower the other day, as I do, when I have my most profound thoughts.
Was this in Portugal? Was this a Portugal thought?
It might have been a Portugal thought. I can't remember, actually. I don't think actually. No, it was U.S. It's definitely a U.S. thought. But anyways, I was like, dude, actually, was it a Portugal thought? It doesn't matter. It was a great thought because I was thinking about all this stuff. And I'm like, everyone's like, oh, they know everything and like they have control of everything. It's like, dude, everyone on Earth has shit themselves. Mm-hmm. Like literally shit themselves. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That gives me so much comfort.
Yeah.
It's like you can't know everything and run the world if you shit yourself. You know what I mean? Like Bill Gates has pooped in his pants. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He can't be running the world.
If Bill Gates is even real.
Yeah, he's real. Because he pooped himself. The poop was real.
Yeah,
and it probably
he was real at one time. I'm just saying, like,
he actually does scare me, dude. I think he's the devil.
Dude, but that's the thing, is he's this altruistic, like, hey, I'm a philanthropist. I just give money away to everybody. Everything's great.
Yeah.
We can't go too far into it before we get
demonetized.
Marked, yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it's funny how people that, and I forget who said, like, they said it very well, but, like, if you need catastrophic things to be happening to make profits, like, it's a big red flag. That's a problem, right? You need a pandemic. You need to make, like, vaccines make millions of dollars and stuff. And you need, like, the war where people are like, it's insane.
That's always been the case.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, that's the only, like, how do you stop that? That's why when we're talking about, like, ascension and getting over that kind of first tier civilization, like, we have to stop that. We have to become
the AIs
united.
Will score everyone on a morality scale.
They force us to be united.
And then the rich people are going to be very nervous and they won't be able to buy the way out of it. GG.
Oh, man. Anyway.
You think the AIs would let you live if they graded your morality?
Me? Oh, well, I don't know. When you talk morality, what's the scale?
I don't. Who fucking knows what they would value?
Yeah.
No idea. That's the scary part.
I think generally, I'd be okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm a danger to society. I don't think I'm very moral, but I think
you're an amoral person. Immoral person.
Immoral person. I think amoral might
just kind of floating out there.
Yeah, just kind of chaotic, neutral.
Makes sense. Anyways, let's get to the second agenda item here out of 10.
Can I throw another fastball little pitch for you?
Sure. That's what sport is that from?
A little pitch?
Yeah.
Little League. So last week we talked about the top sitcoms.
Yeah. Top 5 sitcoms.
So I just have to get this off my chest.
Get it?
It's already chiseled.
Oh, yes.
It's already chiseled. I've been waiting.
This is why you've gone crazy, because
I had no outlet.
This. Yeah.
We did not talk about Schitt's Creek. Everybody should watch Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek probably belongs in the top 5. That is on me. John's never seen it, so I don't even know if it would have made it, but in my personal top 5, that is a thing. So I apologize for all those, I don't even know what you call them, creakers. Shitters. But I had to say it.
That's so good, man.
Okay.
All
sorry.
Right. That gives me so much joy.
Yeah, I know.
You Just totally forgot about
3
it.
weeks
It's
of
amazing.
pent up.
It was Chelsea
frustration.
too that told you.
Yeah.
You would have like gone the whole day without.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'd been fine.
Oh man. All right. So there's a couple things, just miscellaneous things that I wanted to discuss. So just random thought things.
Okay.
First of all, this is a stupid thought, but I was like thinking about this because I got to see my family when I came back. I saw my cousins on my dad's side for the first time in like 20 years.
Okay.
It was crazy.
So you were 4 last time you saw him.
6.
6. All
Yep.
right. How old are you?
26.
Yeah, makes sense.
Math. Are you Mike bearing me right now, or I'm perpetually 24?
All you youngins are just 24.
Gotcha.
That's it.
Do you remember that math game, the 24 game?
Yeah.
Yeah. You did that? You old,
Yeah, we did.
young
it.
enough to remember that?
Young enough, old enough.
Old enough?
I remember when it came out.
Okay.
So,
Anyways, so totally forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, it got me thinking about like how crazy family trees are. Or like when you marry someone and have kids, you literally double your family tree. It doesn't that blow your mind? Like how many people now you've unlocked yourself? It's just exponential.
You're saying because
growth.
you connected two branches.
Like I am a product of my dad's line and my mom's line.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all super obvious, but it kind of
Yeah.
just blew my mind because I was like really thinking about it. And then if I ever have kids, it's double. My kid is doubled.
Yeah.
It's only half. It's like exponential. It's crazy. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy until you go backwards and you realize, oh, we're all related.
I don't think about that.
Okay. But yeah.
But we
it's crazy.
are, I guess.
Sure.
Kind of.
Depending on what,
Where you fall on that.
Adam and Eve, baby.
Well, not even. I mean, everything has to come from something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We don't like to talk about the ancestral part of
Dude, we're brothers,
reproduction.
bro.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know.
Anyways.
We have a Twitter poll about that.
Oh, God. Yeah, should we just get into that?
Just real quick.
I just thought that was crazy, though.
It is. So, like, I mean, and that's where your thought train stopped. You're just like, that's nuts.
Yeah, I'm sure I could have expanded on that, but I was like, man, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's
like
cool.
everything that makes you you, it's millions of years,
Yeah.
and then you meet one person and have a kid, and you just doubled. Boom.
Yeah.
Right there.
All of your good and bad gets put into something
I have no
mixed
bad.
with.
I'm perfect.
Okay, so all your good and
All her bad. Like I
spouse
meet
is
someone who's
bad.
just all
Yeah.
bad.
yeah,
It's like I'm what's his face, and she's Lilith.
you're what's his face?
I can't remember his name. The guy.
The Lorath?
Is that his name?
The guy that just murders people?
No, the guy from Diablo
Yeah.
with the hood
Yeah.
and the tentacles because their wings are really weird.
Oh,
Starts with an A, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
Anarius. So it starts with an
Arius.
I. Yeah.
Oh. What a guy.
Yeah.
Anyways. Was that all I had?
I got you. So you're going to make the world.
I don't even know what I was saying. All right, I had one other thought, and then we can go to the Twitter polls. So it was a D&D thought. So rogues are a very interesting class, okay? So this is just D&D theory here. Because, like, as we talked about before, D&D, very much a team-based game where it's a collaboration, you're trying to tell a story, and rogues naturally fuck everything up because they're shady, and you don't have to play it this way, but traditionally they're, like, more shady and, like,
Distrusting. And,
right.
Yeah,
So
out for themselves.
It makes it difficult. So I think it's really difficult to play a rogue where you're doing traditional rogue-like things, but also being part of a group. Because like rogues in traditional media is more like the lone wolf type of person, right? Like a Han Solo.
Yeah.
Like you can have a Chewie, but like it's tough to write him into the group, and there has to be a lot of circumstantial stuff that happens and a lot of growth for the character as well. And he's a great example of a rogue done right. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I think it's really difficult. But my thought was along the lines of like, they're really tough to pull off. And I think the best chance of pulling off a rogue well and kind of that arc is having a player that is the closest with the DM. Okay. So I had this thought because of one of our really amazing sessions. Because Dwayne's the rogue in our group.
Yeah. I was going to say,
One of the rogues.
he does it fantastic.
Exactly. And the last session we had was around Dwayne and him kind of showing us some of the underbelly of the city and stuff, all of his connections and things like that. And a lot of that stuff comes from preparation between the DM and him. And I would say they're probably the close. I mean, Ryan is too, of course, but they're closer than we are. Yeah. And they're able to do that out of game stuff to prepare for that session. And that preparation paid off in spades because, like, he knew I think they did it in such a great way where, like, Dwayne didn't know how it was going to go, but the structure was there where he's like, I know what I have to do. I know what I have to give this guy. Like, he got what did he get, a muffin or something? And that was like the secret token to get into the thing. And like, I just thought it was really well done. And like, my thought was, if you have that relationship with a DM, you can talk about those things outside a game. Like, something I really love to do is thieves can't. So if you and the DM talk about what the thieves can't language is, like what you want to utilize from that, you can be in game and just role play all of that in front of everyone. And like, you'll literally be saying things in code in front of it, and it's a really cool experience.
It reminds me of the Ocean's 13. 13 or 12?
8?
Ocean's 12 or 13, whenever they're all in the, like, just speaking in code. And Matt Damon is like, says something, and they're like, you just called his daughter a whore or something. I don't know. But like, never mind. You don't know what it is. But like, that's perfect, where if everybody just knows what it is, and like you either have like that one or two people that don't, I think that's also very funny.
Exactly. So I don't know. That was a random thought. I mean, there's a lot of ways to pull off Rogue, but I think that's like a really, because I've seen Rogues done very wrong. Yeah. It's like one of the classes where it's easy to just like, the whole party hates the Rogue and the Rogue hates everyone else. It's like, but
I also like if you can start there, and it takes stuff. Like, you have to be good at kind of rolling within, thinking on your feet and whatnot. But like, if you can start there where everyone does hate you, I think it also has the highest ceiling for like a really cool story arc. Yeah, where suddenly it's like, oh, this is actually this. Everyone loves you by the end, or you sacrifice by the end, or do something, and you can kind of like turn it around. I like that idea as well.
100%. And I think that goes with like having that connection with the DM too. Because the DM, like, you have to weave that into the plot. Yeah. Like Han Solo, there needs to be a specific set of circumstances in which he goes with Luke to help the rebels. And then he has to do another thing and another thing. And then by the time he is able to leave, he's like, I don't want to leave, or I want to keep helping. You know what I mean? Yeah. There has to be like forced narrative purposes until the growth happens where.
But it's tough because you have that, but they're all on a script. I know it's not apples to apples, but like they're on a script too. So like the DM can count on Luke Skywalker saying a certain thing, or Leia saying a certain thing, or whatever. Where in a DM game, it's like, I'm expecting everyone to go on the Millennium Falcon, and it's like, I blow it up. And it's like, well, crap. Now what do you do? I murder Darth Vader. Oh, okay.
Yep. No, that's why it's much more difficult.
Like, Obi-Wan just kills Vader.
Yeah. But I think that's the beauty of the game, though. Yeah. Where it's like, when something, it's tough. And when something incredible happens, like, you couldn't write it any better. You know that that's a product of complete chaos and randomness to a certain degree.
Just luck.
To me, it makes it that much more special.
100%.
Yeah. So what a great game. Sometimes. Those are my two thoughts.
We play again next week, which is exciting.
Very excited.
It's been a while. Yeah.
I'm very excited for that. Yep. I really love my character in that game.
I don't know if I hope my nephew doesn't listen to this podcast, but we've been playing some Sea of Thieves recently and actually doing like fairly well. And I wanted to record him just talking because he is literally you as he's trying to explain it. So he's like, and then me and my friend did this, and we did it. And he's just like, talking a million miles an hour, telling all these different things, changing, like it was just like,
I'm pretty good, huh?
It was so good.
I'm pretty good.
And I swear, because John was with us, and I just like joking and hoping that John got it. I was like, oh yeah, like, dude, you sound like my friend Milo. I just kept going. But
John get it?
I think he snickered. Yeah.
So there's like a couple things I do really well. The kid energy,
Yeah.
I do well, even when I'm like DMing stuff. And then the monster who's friendly, I do super well.
Monster who's friendly?
Yeah, like the big troll.
Yeah.
Who you're on a quest to like go kill him, and it turns out he's like a really nice guy.
He's just a cool chap.
Yeah.
All right.
Those like
I don't know ever. I've never experienced that though.
Well, Nate was saying like he remembers the one fucking giant or something, or he was forget what he was.
Was I even in that?
I thought you were. You must have been.
Yeah.
And like he was. I don't even remember, but Nate like specifically remembers this interaction.
It is crazy how people like really latch on to specific.
It was like
moments.
one of his favorite NPCs ever. Like I think he just wanted to cook or something, and the townspeople were like annoying him, so he would go over and kick people in the shin.
Okay.
And they like sent you on a quest, and he's like, oh, like these guys are so mean to me. Blah blah. I don't know.
I have no recollection of that. I mean, I'm sure it's.
I think
wonderful.
it was something there.
Yeah.
Anyways. Those are my two good things. Let's get to the Twitter polls here. We got some spicy ones.
I think we just have the one, right? Or do we have multiple?
We have two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the first one, which one of my favorite ones, and I wish more people voted on it, best Dorito flavor.
Oh, yeah.
So it's between Cool Ranch, Nacho Cheese, Salsa Verde, which was, this could have gone a bunch of directions, but
of course, yeah.
It was a different color, so I picked this one. And then Spicy Sweet Chili, which is the purple bag.
Yeah.
It was between Cool Ranch and Spicy Sweet Chili. Super sad Nacho Cheese didn't get any votes. Yeah. I think this is an excellent poll. Like, if we had 1 million people vote on this, I'd be extremely curious what the results would be.
Yeah.
But Cool Ranch won because our friend group's biased and wrong. 71%. Spicy Sweet Chili in second place at 29%. So
I could crush a bag of Cool Ranch and be fine. I can't do that with a sweet chili.
And I'm vice versa.
Yeah. It's fair.
So it just, I don't know. It's really interesting. I went my whole life not knowing that everyone loved Cool Ranch so much. Because my group of friends, it was just easy nacho cheese is number one.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super strange.
Okay.
So anyways.
Congratulations, Cool Ranch.
Yeah, congratulations. Second one was an interesting one. So there's something special about coming back from vacation and just seeing what Tyler puts on the Twitter.
Buddy, I was alone for a week. You weren't here. My wife wasn't here. It was just like,
So presumably Tyler, since he's the only other one with access to the account, puts on here. John is currently working on his Horizon Forbidden West fan fiction. Please help.
Yeah.
If Aloy were to have sex with Beta, that would be incest or masturbation. So very thought-provoking.
Spoilers, too. So maybe we put that out there, just as a quick. If you're gonna play Forbidden West, this is a little bit of a.
You
spoiler.
didn't even put a spoiler tag in the Twitter.
It's been over a year at this point since it's been out. So
exactly. So 60% say incest.
Yeah.
She's a clone, by the way.
So Des randomly messaged me and asked.
Sure.
I went with masturbation right off the bat.
Did you?
Because in my mind, a clone is that is genetically 100% you, right?
Yes.
So I was like, okay, easy.
Yes.
Masturbation. Problem is, and this is how I described it, is how do you view sex? If it's more of a physical thing to you, then I think it's more masturbation. If it's an emotional thing, then I think that's when you get into the incest realm, because then it's like, well, this is a different person with a different consciousness, different, they changed a lot of things. And then Des actually literally texted me today saying Aloy calls Beta her sister at the end of the game, which I forgot.
Yeah.
So it's kind of...
Yeah, that's kind of... There's your answer.
Yeah.
40% disagree with that line in the game, I guess.
Oh. I forgot about that.
That was an interesting one.
Yeah.
Not sure what I'm going to do with that information, but I'll let you know when the fanfic is done, and maybe we'll leave out that scene.
I'm excited for hearing it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Don't want to spoil it, but it goes places.
We have fun.
I was like, what the fuck is Tyler doing? Dude? I texted you like immediately.
I know I can't be trusted.
Can't be trusted. Yeah, got to take the access away from you. So there's our Twitter polls. You know, we ask the hard hitting questions. Okay, before we get into the meat of today's episode, why don't you talk to me a little bit about some spicy purchases you made?
It's not too spicy.
Okay.
One thing spicy, we won't talk about that.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's just dumb purchases.
Sure.
So again, one reason why I can't be left alone is I just buy dumb stuff.
Sure.
Right? So do you want to guess what I bought? Like
Can I get a hint? Like, can I ask questions about it?
Sure. Yeah.
Play like a little 20 questions.
Do you want to do 20 questions? I bought 4 things, so I don't want to do 20 questions for each of them.
No. So is it electronics?
No.
Do you wear it?
Yes.
Dumb purchase that you wear. Is it footwear?
Yes.
Okay, so like boots or something?
No.
Those stupid croc-like things with the toes?
No. But I like where your head's at.
That's a stupid purchase.
I feel like those are better and more suited than what I got. So here, this could go. But
all right. I narrowed it down pretty good.
You actually got way closer.
Snowshoes?
Than I thought you were gonna do. No,
Snowshoes?
No. I don't like this.
Snowshoes though?
But no.
Okay.
My dad wanted to do snow walking and bought snowshoes.
Like the tennis rackets on your shoes?
He went one time and was like, it's not.
So the apple doesn't far from the tree there. Okay.
So I've gone down this dark hole of I'm on Instagram a lot more.
Sure.
Just kind of like scrolling through. I actually like Instagram a little bit more than TikTok sometimes. And I just randomly buy things off there that I see. So I bought these socks with faces on them.
Oh.
And they have 2 arms on either side. And in those arms are little magnets. So if you're standing, they snap together and your sock face things are holding hands.
That is the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard.
$14.99. So I got that. That's coming from China. There's also, I got some fidget
is there a swoosh on it?
There's no swoosh on
You're
it.
doomed.
No, this is,
Doomed.
I'm sure these will break in like
Doomed.
a day.
Okay.
Chelsea actually made a good point. So that you can get them in black or white.
Okay.
It would have been cool if you got one black, one white.
Ah.
Kind of like
So get 2 pairs.
Yeah, like a
Let's
diversity
match 'em.
thing. Anyway,
Well, yeah.
the other thing is I got these like fidget
Spinners.
magnets
Okay.
in the shape of like playing cards.
Okay.
So I got like 2 like I don't know steel things that you can like click and do whatever.
Yeah.
So I bought those. It was $11 shipping. Right.
Wow.
Chelsea comes out and I'm all sheepish because I just bought something.
She can tell.
It was like $40 for the 2 steel bricks and $11 shipping. So I buy those, and then Chelsea's like, "Oh, I kind of want them. I want them." I'm just like, "Oh, okay." So not only did I bought her some, and I paid $22 in shipping because it was 2 different orders, and I'm too lazy to like contact them and say, "Hey, can I get another pair?" And you ship them together and all that stuff. So that was bad.
That makes me angry.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. It makes me angry too. It's stupid.
You just throwing.
Then, and this is all from Instagram, by the way. So these are just like, it's the pop-up that I'm just buying.
Delete Instagram.
I think so. I think
they're really getting.
Yes, they are.
Yes,
but I'm keeping them guessing because first I buy socks, now I buy fidget things. What? Yeah, anyway,
there's a line there. Somewhere.
Then I bought into this single aluminum pen. So I bought a pen
that you write with.
With a special ink thing. And I got a couple ink refills. I got 2 notepads to go with it. And I got a wooden, what's some wood types?
Cedar?
No,
oak?
no.
Birch?
It's not oak. Crap, what is it?
Maple?
No.
Yew?
What? It's not oak. It's the next one that everyone gets. It's darker wood.
Amber?
Yeah, it's amber.
I don't know.
I can't believe I'm
Sequoia?
Blanking on it. I don't know. Anyway, but I got a wooden pen holder.
It's not oak?
It's not oak. No,
It's not
it's the other one. It's literally like you have your maple, your oak, and your
Evergreen,
freaking just look it up. Whatever.
cherry blossom tree.
Wood types. No, because it's like the type that I should have grabbed before. I guess walnut.
Walnut. That's a nice
right?
wood.
I guess it's walnut. Yeah,
Okay.
that's not what I would have guessed. Anyway,
So you got your walnut.
I got a walnut, little pen holder.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right.
so I got that,
Okay.
and then I got some keycaps. Okay,
This is more on brand.
This is some keycaps, the cheapest set I could find that are PBT type, like, and I think it has like some sort of like PBT ABS combo mixture or whatever that are printed on them, right? And I wanted to just feel the texture because these are a little bit thicker, so it's going to give you a different sound profile and stuff like that. Good news is they feel really good, so I like that. The bad news is instead of the alphabet on them, it's just all hentai faces.
There's 26 hentai faces.
There's 108 of them.
How many keys are?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
On a keyboard?
A key set, if you get like a full blown keyboard, it's like
Wow.
70 keys for a
That's a lot of
type that I use.
faces.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have a hentai key set.
Is that the spicy one?
That's yeah,
Okay.
we'll call that spicy.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, why?
That's it, man. I don't know. That's what I got.
So the moral of the story is never leave Tyler alone ever.
Yeah. Oh, it's very bad.
Okay.
Yeah. I
That's
also
crazy.
bought a Mac.
What?
Yeah.
That's expensive.
No, this was actually fairly cheap. Like, so the Mac Minis are fairly well priced, and this is just because I'm like super depressed right now for whatever reason,
That's not good.
and I think part of it is just the lack of creativity.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that if I have this kind of like, because I have a MacBook, right, and it's portable and I kind of do whatever with it and whatnot, but the screen's a little small. It's like a 13-inch screen, and this is just me being a prima donna, but like I can't do what I want to do on it because the screen's too small. And now you're saying, well, you could just hook up the screen to your monitor. I could, but if I have a computer that is plugged in and whatnot, I'm hoping that kind of spurs me on to like, okay, this is like a workstation that I'm going to do like some design stuff with it and things like that. Will it work? Who knows? But
I wish you the best of luck, my
thanks.
friends.
That's a dumb purchase.
I
but
hope you cure whatever you're.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't saying it like
Going
that.
through.
I was just like, my creativity is just getting
Stomped on.
not stomped on, just like drained, man. Like
Yeah.
it's by the time I want to, I don't know. Like it's just like I want to design or do things or like put something out there.
That's awesome. I mean, I encourage it, man. That'll be
well,
fun.
Well, we'll see how it goes. But that's,
Keep me posted.
yeah,
Okay, so that was you.
that was me.
I'm trying to wrap my head around everything.
Also, I watched the Subway guy, like the pedophile guy. He has
Okay.
a documentary. Well, he doesn't, but they put a documentary out on HBO.
Okay.
Like he's like bad.
Oh yeah.
Like I thought it was like they found like pictures, but there's like audio recordings of him being like, "Hey, kids are cool," and it's
No,
just like you are like sickening. Like I didn't realize it was to that level. I mean, any level is bad. Let me be clear with that. But I was like, I went from that, and I was just like, I need like it's like I need a cleansing, right? Every time. Only reason I'm saying that is because every time Chelsea leaves, I somehow find myself watching some like horrific documentary.
Yeah.
Like the one before it was like, here's what priests murdered nuns or whatever, and I was like, I need
Happy.
yeah. So then I watched Dune. That was my transition.
Wow.
That was me. But go ahead.
Excellent. No,
Yeah.
go tell me about Dune, man.
Dune.
Because you've been
I texted you right after.
yes.
And I know we kind of had this ongoing thing of like, yeah, Dune, whatever. Like, we're never going to watch it. I shouldn't say we, but like, I was like, okay, I wanted to watch it. Chelsea was like, oh, I'll watch it with you. And it's one of those movies we never saw. Finally watched it. It is actually pretty good and better than it has any right to be. Like, I was actually pretty enthralled with it. It's a longer movie, or at least it seemed long, but like not in a bad way. I don't really know what else to say beyond that. Like,
okay.
it's
I thought I
good.
was ready for a review.
No, like it's one of those, like, I thought it was going to be up its own butt a lot about like, oh, here's all like you know how like Warhammer, you don't know how to get into it.
Yeah.
Like you were into it, but like for me coming after, years and years and years, like I have no idea. I've never touched Warhammer. I have no idea where to start or
it's
what
intimidating.
to read. Yeah, exactly. And I felt Dune was going to be kind of the same thing of like, oh, well, it's these 5 books, 7 books, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like, here's 7 books of. I'm like, man, that's a lot. Like I don't know. But it was really well done. I liked it. Like it was easy to follow and everything. Like it actually made me. I'm like, oh, I kind of want to read the book and get into it. But I'm excited to see where it goes. I actually liked Chalamet. Is it Timothy Chalamet? He's like the main character. I think that's him. But he was actually like really good, and everyone in there I think was like really well cast and stuff. So I don't know. I don't want to be like overly hyped about it. Like the fact that it was like, oh, do you like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings? It's not Star Wars and Lord of the Rings.
I was literally just about
like,
to ask that.
Not even close. Like not even in the same ballpark. I'll say that. Do I like Dune more than episode like 8 and 9? Yes.
Yeah.
7 is borderline. I could take or leave either of them.
Sure.
I think, but yeah, I don't know. Did you know? Speaking of episode 7, I know I'm jumping all over. Guess how much Mark Hamill got paid to be in episode 7? You know when he doesn't say a word and just looks?
$2 million.
3.
No way. That's crazy.
That is some awesome. Like
that might be the easiest performance ever.
Hey, you a little overweight or whatever. You're still working that's fine. Just throw these robes on. You're good. Like
haven't shaved in a while.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
disheveled. Fine. Good for him. I just read that today.
Dude, I think that trilogy broke his heart because he really cared about the character of Luke.
Yeah. There were
and
rumors.
You like go back and you listen to his interviews and he's like, don't get your hopes up, or like, I don't know if I really agree with the direction. Like he was trying to warn us about it. It was like insane. I think he had obviously he has a really good understanding of the character because he
is the character.
Is the character and like if you ask Harrison Ford about Han Solo, he wouldn't fucking care or know.
I think he does.
No, but doesn't care.
What do you mean doesn't care?
He he hates Star Wars.
Yeah,
gets
but
really sick about talking about it.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, like and maybe I put too much credit into it. Like I feel like that's partly an act, partly of like you're just too cool for school type of thing.
He's just a weirdo.
Yeah, I like him in a lot of stuff, and I think some of his interviews are actually pretty good.
Really? I think every time I see him in an interview, I think he's just a wackadoo.
Normally, yes.
Yeah.
But there are a couple times when it's just like I think if they screwed up, well, I mean, maybe they did. I don't know. We didn't see the new Indiana Jones yet, but I feel like he cares enough about Han Solo of like he has to, right? Like
this
you
is
have
big break,
to be,
right?
That's like your Jack Sparrow. That's your.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like who embodies a character so much.
I don't know though.
But maybe
I think I don't think he does. There was like this one interview he had where someone. I'm going to butcher this, but someone made like a Lego Star Wars thing. Either it was like the Millennium Falcon or Death Star or something. Mm-hmm. And he just like smashed it on live TV.
Yeah, but that's got to be like a bit, right?
Yeah, but that's like so tasteless. Like someone took the time to put that together.
Yeah, but that's got to be. I refuse to believe that he takes a random fan unless the fan was being like ridiculous. Like,
I don't know.
Hitting
I don't
him or
know.
something.
You might be right.
Did you see like? I mean, Mark Hamill's like taking the time to like sign all those autographs and stuff, and people were like shoving it in his car and like yelling at him. Like, then you literally see it on eBay. So it's like
I got you.
So there's a world where I could see it happening, but that would be hard for me to believe.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's just
that's like
maybe it's all an act. It doesn't seem like it to me, but because like it goes either way. Either you recognize that the character like made you, and like everyone sees you as this character. Like Mark Hamill.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't think that's the greatest example. Like everyone sees him as Luke, but I don't think as much as like you see Han Solo you see Harrison Ford and you're like, that's Han Solo or Indiana Jones. Or you see Daniel Radcliffe and it's like, yeah, it's Harry Potter. You know what I mean? Like those are like the extreme examples of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying, but
I guess I can see it. Maybe I just want him to care. Maybe I think that's
exactly.
It is. I want him to care. And
I think he understands the character. Like you go back to like episode 5 where he improvises the line of like before he gets put in the carbonite.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay, he has a really good understanding. Like nobody could figure out what, something was off, and he was the only one to figure out like what the character would say there. So that displays obviously at that point, like, okay, so he has a firm understanding. But I don't know. Maybe he loves it secretly. It's all an act. He loves Star Wars. He's coming back.
There was rumors that Disney was selling it back to George Lucas. That was all over the internet for a little bit.
What do you think? You think he would have like scrapped the new?
That was the part of the rumor. So it was like the rumor was Disney needed to offload a bunch of stuff because they were getting like in with Hulu, like all this other stuff, and it was like, oh, he's sending it back to George Lucas, and then that was just speculation of like, does he just retcon everything and try to get everyone back and do everything? It's like, you can't now, because rest in peace Carrie Fisher, but like, there's no way. I mean, you might get. I think you get Mark Hamill to do it.
100%.
But Harrison
you never
Ford
get Harrison Ford again.
Not.
That was the last one. Such a waste. Makes me mad every time.
Well, even what's his face? Who was Boyega?
Yeah.
He was just being interviewed, and he was like, "Yeah, no, I think he's good," because they got so far away from his character, even in that trilogy, that he's just like, you don't need him. Finn's fine.
Yeah, Finn sucks.
Finn was great in the first one, and then they just completely.
I thought Finn was
nothing.
interesting in the first one.
Well, that's what I mean. Like
potential.
It was cool.
Yes,
and then they just. Blah.
I mean, like, the trilogy is awful. It's fucking terrible,
yeah.
and makes me mad to this day. Or anytime we bring it up, it's such a waste. You wait your whole life. Is this how people felt like when they saw the original in the 80s or the 70s, and then the prequels come out? It's probably how they felt. It's probably how they felt. I mean, you hear people say similar things, right? Like, this isn't Star Wars and da da da. It's like terrible.
Yeah, but I feel like even
what's
in the
a midichlorian?
When did the episode 7 come out? Like, it's been years. Like,
it's been years.
I feel like there's some sort of maybe it does take like 10 years for people to like come around to it or whatever.
I am firm, and maybe I'm just a hater. I could be.
Yeah,
I'm a firm believer that that's not a good. It will not get better with age. It was bad.
No, yeah, 100%.
It was terrible.
Yes.
The prequels I like infinitely more, but I've always been higher on the prequels. I've always liked the prequels.
Sure.
And the problem is a lot of the stuff has to do with like not the movies, which is unfair. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of the video games made me appreciate the prequels more because it's like, oh wow, there are a lot of awesome characters. Oh wow, there was a lot of cool sequences and stuff. So
same with the books.
Is that fair or whatever? No, but that's just what it is.
Yep.
And then the fact that you like retcon the whole Star Wars universe and then make this new shit, just I don't know, man.
Well, the thing that kills me, and I don't know, we just devolved into Star Wars talk, but like the thing that kills me is the books, even just like the little bit of books that are considered canon now that I've read. Like like when Rey's like scavenging like that the Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
That's destroyed on Jadu or Jahu or whatever it is. Like even that, where it's like, I don't care about Rey, but like the fact that Star Destroyer crashed there, I read a book about how that happened.
Yeah.
And that's sick as heck, where it's like,
100%.
Oh my goodness. Like,
and that's canon?
That's canon. Yeah, it's canon because it's like, it does the arc of the movies, like all of them.
Right.
And it's just like, that stuff's so cool. So like all of that and how they're interjecting all of this stuff into canon through the books is great. I just hate that it's like somehow shackled to this like terrible trilogy, and the only redeeming parts of those trilogies is like people doing better writing than like the script or whatever.
That's why to me, dude, it's always a safe bet. So here's my theory on why this is as well, and maybe I'm just fucking wrong about this, but we've been writing forever, right? Not forever, but like we've been writing so much longer than we've been making movies. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the literary arts are usually much stronger. And it's always a safer bet to base your film and try to be faithful to that book or whatever.
Because you know what it's supposed to be versus like, well, here's a script and this is how I think that they're supposed to say it. And then you have the actors come in and either do it differently or improvise.
Does that make sense?
You're not getting what you need out of it.
Yeah. I mean, there are amazing movies, obviously.
Sure.
And you can do that. And even like the original Star Wars is great. Mm-hmm. But there's something about like a book. And I think
it's
just the amount of time
you fill in the gaps.
Right. There is that, but there's also just like the amount of time we've been writing things it's ancient. And I think that experience really contributes to like high quality.
Sure. But even like from a performance level, like I don't mind. I'm indifferent toward Hayden Christensen. I don't think he's the best actor in the world, but also I don't want people like booing him.
Okay,
right?
Look, my take on this is there's a lot of cringy things.
Yeah.
Episode 3 always makes me cry.
Sure.
On repeat.
Yeah. Like there are certain aspects when it's fine.
Like when he's dying and like spitting all over the place and yelling, like I think that was really well delivered personally.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right?
But
like I think that's an amazing scene.
Most of episode 2 and half of 3.
Just imagine Darth Jar Jar, dude.
Yeah, but
should have committed.
But what I'm saying is,
should have committed.
Reading the novelization of episode 3,
right.
His character is like
phenomenal.
Yeah, like Anakin is fantastic,
right?
Because it's like this is who Anakin Skywalker is right now, and it's just like his conflict and everything like is so well written that as he's delivering lines, as he's talking to people, as he's having certain like personality, like basically personality disorder on like this is who he is to Padme, this is who he is to whoever. It's so well done, and like your brain just naturally delivers the lines how you think this should be delivered. So it just feels like even if it's not necessarily better writing, I mean it is, but even if it's not necessarily better writing, your brain makes it better because you are doing what makes like you're creating this scene in your mind based off of what makes sense to you as a person.
Right.
So it's like, oh, he said this way. Okay, well, you can either listen to Hayden Christensen deliver it, hopefully in a somewhat okay way.
Right.
Or you can do it in your mind and it's like, oh, this
perfect
is how yeah, exactly. So that's just natural.
I agree with that, but there are circumstances in which the movie does such an amazing job that it's like maybe beyond your imagination and it's actually better.
Yeah.
So I think of like the end of The Lord of the Rings where they kneel for the hobbits and just the scenery and the power of that visual
100%
will make you cry where I don't know if you can capture that as well because
I think a big difference to that though is they're not acting. You know what I mean? They're acting, but it's not like there's not a dialogue, there's not interaction, there's not.
It's just
like,
the visual.
Exactly. So I completely agree with you that when you're trying to imagine certain things, it's good to grasp that. And to be fair, a lot of the reason why I could understand episode 3 or picture it is because I already saw the movie.
Right.
So it's like rewatching the movie, but with like a million deleted scenes.
Yeah.
Basically, you know.
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, there's definitely positives to both. Like, I remember, like in Harry Potter, for example, when Cedric Diggory dies. That scene in the movie makes me cry every fucking time, dude. It's delivered so well. The agony in the delivery. Whereas in the book, I was shocked maybe when that happened, but I don't think I cried at that point.
How does it make you feel that you're going to experience that again when HBO gets around to it? That's what, third
I was just talking to my friend about this. I think that is the fourth book.
Because Azkaban's my favorite. So that's a third book.
Azkaban, what a great movie.
Yeah.
Easily the best movie out of the whole thing. I think they have a great opportunity because we've talked about this. A TV format allows you to really be faithful to the source material. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the stuff that have been cut out from the books, obviously, and even maybe expanding on some things. I like the idea of how we're going to get a better sense of the whole school year.
Yeah.
Rather than kind of just jumping around like you have to do when you only have 2 hours. So there's a lot of potential for it to be great, but obviously it's going to be tough and it's going to be very challenging for me the characters are so iconic from the movies, the actors that portray those characters.
Do you think?
Absolutely. I think Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter.
Huh. Okay.
I know you hate Harry Potter and him and everything.
I don't hate it. I just don't think they're irreplaceable to a Star Wars. I don't think
anyone's
level.
irreplaceable besides like Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
But it's going to be tough. I think you just naturally, I think they're all casted great. Except for like maybe Ron. I think he was casted fine, but what they did to Ron in the movies is crazy. They made him a dumb idiot, and that's just not what his character is at all in the books. It was really strange, and I'm going to be going down a rant here, but like they gave a lot of like things to Hermione. Like she solves like all the problems in the movies.
Yeah.
Where like Ron actually is extremely helpful in the books in certain aspects.
So you're hoping they correct a lot of that.
I hope they're more faithful to his character. Like his intuition's really good. He's not an idiot, and he's not like he's like the butt of every joke kind of in the movies, like the comic relief, and he's actually not that at all in the books. So it's very different. Anyways, rant over. I'm excited for it. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anyone can do it, HBO's got a shot.
Yeah, HBO's pretty good. HBO's pretty good.
I mean, if it was Netflix, you wouldn't get past Prisoner of Azkaban.
So,
Azkaban.
Dune, not as good as Star Wars, not as good as Lord of the Rings, but still solid. That's the
Dune
takeaway.
is a good property that I'm actually I might go see that.
Okay.
In the theater.
Yeah.
I think you should watch the first Dune. I'm not going to burn hours on it because I feel like you're going to make your own decision. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth a watch.
Where can I watch it?
HBO.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, interesting.
Or ask John to put it on.
Well,
that's easy.
Okay, interesting. So Tyler caved and watched Dune. That's great.
Yeah.
Speaking of Star Wars, though, I've been playing Jedi Survivor.
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Jedi : Survivor?
Yeah. So that's been an interesting game. So did you want to start or do you want me to start? Because you have less to say about it than I do, probably.
Yeah, it's a bad game. Go ahead.
Done?
I'm just kidding. No, go ahead. Like I feel like you're... I mean, you have to be farther than I am.
Yeah, so I'm almost done. I'm maybe 80%, 85% of the way done because I was looking this morning at the chapters. So I think I have a good sense of the game and I'm prepared to rate it. And if the ending totally changes my mind one way or the other, I will amend my statement or rating in next episode. So thoughts on the game. I think the game's pretty solid overall. So I didn't run into a lot of performance issues, if any. Although I say that in my most recent sessions, I've run into more issues. So I don't know
this is a lot of patch. So I played it when it first came out, and it was stuttery and a mess. So you played it past that, kind of like a cyberpunk situation where by the time you got around to it, it should be fine.
Exactly. So large part of the game has been totally fine. I'm running at about 100 frames on max settings.
Okay.
No ray tracing though. And the game looks really good, actually. I was surprised how good the game looks. It was running great, very smooth. I think the best part of the game is the scenery, the backdrops, actually. It does a really amazing job of the expansive nature of like where you're at. Like it opens in Coruscant. I think that's my favorite part of the game, by the way. That actually put me in such a Star Wars mood.
I was very excited about it.
Yeah.
And that go on.
You're running around Coruscant, like this kind of heisty kind of situation. It was really exciting. It was really cool. You saw like the alien languages on the billboards and stuff. It just put me in such a mood to watch like the prequels again. So awesome start to the game. But yeah, even when you're on the planets too, I think like, you have the sun in the background and you can see some of the other planets. There's like a moon that's like exploded and it looks really good. I think that backdrops just are really well done. Like, I guess those are like skyboxes that they're using for that.
More than likely, yeah.
Right. So Yeah, I just think it just looks like, I don't know. I just think they do a really good job. I don't know the technical aspect on how they do that sort of thing with the skyboxes, but it just, the way they do lighting and stuff just makes it look really good. Because skyboxes can be tough. Sometimes you can just tell that it's like an image in the background.
I mean,
it's not high res.
Better at it. And,
high res enough. Because if it's too high res, you're devoting a lot of power to rendering.
Theoretically, yeah.
Right? So it's this balance of like, how can we kind of shadow the background or hide the background in a way
where it's like, oh, I'm on this planet, and because I was in outer space, I saw like the broken moon or whatever, and it gives you a sense of place, or like, oh, okay, it keeps calling back to like your location because you are planet hopping.
Exactly. So I think the scenery is the best part of it. I think the planets look really nice. That's the best part of the visuals. The character models are fine, but it's not the strongest point of the game, I would say.
The cutscenes are good.
Cutscenes are very good, yeah.
But yeah, the character models are I would say lifeless. Is that fair to say? Like when you're looking at it and stuff, like they dead-eyed, like you look at Cal and like your main character and like you just kind of like circle around him. Anytime he's not in a cutscene, his eyes are just blank. Like I feel like his skin is just overly like smooth. Like I don't know. It's just his wardrobe looks good.
Yeah,
like so much is on that and like hair. Like his face itself, it seemed bland.
No, I think it's good. I think so. The theme of this, in my mind, is it's good, not great, and I think that applies to a lot of aspects of this game. Character models being one.
Yeah.
Like you said, the clothes look really good, like especially the movement. There's a lot of things that like dangle and flow.
Yep.
And I really like the movement of the game, although I think he like runs like awkwardly, but it doesn't bother me. It's like kind of cool in a way, you know what I mean? He does like this kind of skip step.
The animations between, I don't know if you watch them as much, between changing your lightsaber stances. So like how you have three lightsaber stances to pick from, or just the two? No, just the two. So there's multiple. 6 different stances, but you can only pick between two at any time, right?
Two, yes.
But the way that he animates, where like if your lightsaber's on your hilt, it's always full length, dual bladed, whatever.
Right.
But then as he picks it up and twirls it around and pulls it out and stuff like that, that's all super, super cool. And it's very, very fluid. And I was like, that is something I was actually really impressed with, is it makes sense with how each thing does. So if you're using the lightsaber split in half and you have 2 sabers and you're doing your thing, as he puts it, you see him put it together and then put it on his hip every time. It doesn't just snap, like dip to his hip all of a sudden or something.
Right.
Or he always like spins it on or off or whatever. I think all of that was super, super well done on like, okay, if you're just a dude with a lightsaber, you're going to give it a little twirl. Like it's fun.
100%.
So like I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it kind of adds to his character. I totally agree. I think there was a lot of attention to detail to that aspect of it, which I appreciate, because you're going to be pulling it out and putting it away, stowing it a lot during the game. So that definitely pays off. I think the animations overall are generally pretty good. How you jump, how you're moving throughout the combat. I love like when you lock onto someone, there's like a boss fight, you're like moving, kiting backwards, and he's like hopping around. It's like feels very battle-like, very, this guy's has really good movement in terms of like battle stance and things like that, if that makes sense. So
yeah,
I think the motion capture for the game was very good, because I know that they kind of highlighted a lot of that in the marketing.
I wish it was a little more fluid in combat.
Sure.
In that, but that would go against like the design of the combat, because it is supposed to be deliberate. Maybe not as 1-to-1 on Dark Souls as, but it's a Souls-like. Right. But it's like, I wish that it was a little bit more fluid, or if you wanted to interrupt your move, you could a little bit simpler, or a little bit more easy. I think that would have been my preference. But again, we've talked at length about how it's just not my type of game.
Right, absolutely. So yeah, that's all like the kind of the technical stuff. I think so. Since you're talking about gameplay, I guess I'll go there next. So yeah, it's Souls-like. You got to play this game on easy. I played this game on easy, and I did not use the great saber stance to Tyler's recommendation.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're 100%. So I got that when you get that to that point.
Yep.
And it forces you to use it for a hallway.
Yeah.
It is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
For people listening, the great saber is essentially the heavy version. So like you have all these different stances, and you have like the normal lightsaber, you have the dual blade, you have the tube split, you have a lightsaber and a gun, and then you have a great saber.
Right.
And that is literally a two-handed sword that's supposed to be like it's slow.
It's supposed to be like a great sword.
Yeah.
Like a claymore.
It's a light sword. It's a lightsaber. It's made of light.
Yep.
Every Star Wars book you've ever read, the number one description of a lightsaber is weightlessness.
Yep. No, it's a balancing thing.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Dude, just make it OP. Who cares? It's a single player game.
Yeah.
So anyways, don't use that. I used the 2 separate blades and the double blade.
Yeah, that's what I did.
And you just crank it on easy, and you absolutely annihilate everyone like a Jedi does.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes the game so fun. So much more fun, I should say.
Yeah.
I guess the downside to that is I get all these abilities and I don't really need to use them. I can literally just mash.
Sure. Fair enough.
So like it's a trade-off for sure, but it's just really like when you pull off, there was this one section where this army of droids coming at me and I had like a group force pull.
Yeah.
And I pull them all towards me and just destroy them in one stroke. You just feel like a badass Jedi. And it's like moments like that are just like great. So the gameplay, I think, can definitely be fun. It makes the boss fights way less epic because they're a joke.
Yeah.
So that's, again, another trade-off if you're putting it on easy. The boss fights are going to be too easy. Mm-hmm. Where like that should be maybe a little bit more challenging. But flip side of that is if you get hit by a lightsaber, you're going to die quick. So it's like,
sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's tough. I don't know. But yeah, I think overall the combat's pretty good. There's a lot of variety in skill trees. Like you can go force or actually I lied. I don't think there's a lot of variety. I think there could be more because a lot of it is just increasing like your stamina, your health.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that because like the trees themselves, like, yeah, exactly. It's like you get a little bit more health or you get a little bit more force concentration or whatever it's called. And it's like none of that felt super game changing. Like it's like, oh, you can add a little flourish at the end of like I just went all lightsaber basically.
Okay.
Now granted, you're farther than me, so I eventually would kind of do tree, but like it just seemed very like kind of arbitrary, where it's like, yeah, I could get more health, but like, who cares, you know?
Right.
And the problem is some of the other cooler stuff or the things that might be game changing are behind that wall of get an extra health bar or get an extra stim or whatever it is. I just felt like the trees were just kind of like there to be there.
Yeah. As soon as I said it, I was like, wait a minute, this is not like this at all. Yeah. So yeah, I think there's a lot to be desired there. I mean, there's like some abilities I could have used more and maybe like more purpose to them. Like, I don't know. I think ability design, you should really be thinking about, okay, there's going to be certain types of enemies that you face and there's specific case uses, right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't feel like that at all. Again, granted, playing on easy, like, you know, maybe if you're playing on a more difficult level, you know, you need some of those other things. But yeah, like I said, I would never just take health or force because it's like feels bad. Like I want to learn something new. I want to do something interesting. So anyways,
it sucks too because like it's one of those things where it's like a Devil May Cry or even like a fighting game where you got to just memorize all of these like button presses. And like Hi-Fi Rush was similar,
right?
And and this is maybe just a personal thing, but like what it boils down to is like this was a powerful combo. I'll just memorize that one combo, and that will get me through most of any combat situation, right?
Right.
So what I would love to see a game do would be like you're the one that discovers the combos. So like all of them are unlocked to you. You can do whatever you want, but it's just you through trial and error. Like, oh, like XXXY or XXYXY, whatever. As you're doing it and as you do a combo, that's how you unlock them versus some arbitrary like, you have enough experience to do this. Now you can do an extra X at the end of it. It's like, wouldn't you do that anyway in real life?
Right.
So like that's kind of what I would love to see is like everything is available to you, and it's almost like as you come across them, every time you do a combo, every time if you do something, then it just adds to your journal or whatever and just says you learned a new attack.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think it's interesting. Yeah. So, anyways, that's the gameplay. I think the gameplay is good.
How do you feel about like so there are like puzzles and stuff too? Do you
I
like
fucking hate puzzles.
Yeah, like
so boring.
do you?
I think it seems like just padding. It just seems like filler.
Yeah.
So total waste of time.
Did the first game have a lot of that?
It had a decent number of that.
As much as
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. It's been a while, but I don't believe so.
Like I was playing through them and I'm just like, there are puzzles that I like where like Tomb Raider is a good example of I actually enjoyed doing the tombs and like it was clever and I was like, oh, this is actually neat.
Right.
And honestly, every cauldron in Forbidden West I thought was unique and awesome and it was like, oh, this is actually cool. Like I didn't hate doing them. This one, it was just like, dude, I see this. I see the solution, but it just either felt clumsy to pick something up and move it or force, or it's like, oh, you're a little bit off, so now you have to like redo something, and it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a puzzle guy. It seemed like, okay, we're just adding this to pad the time.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it just felt like that. The first game, I swear, did not have as much, but I think there was more just random, like, I just remember in the first game, there was these big sections of just enemies.
Yeah.
Like more than the second one.
This one definitely has a lot more exploration and just kind of like go around.
And then you get to the story points faster, which I appreciate because like when you're just fighting enemies for like an hour, it's like awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Yeah, there's like exploration stuff. I didn't do any side quest shit. I don't care.
And maybe that's why you're farther than I am because I spent so long on the first like big planet, like that desert.
Absolutely the wrong way to do it.
And everyone says that, and I can't, and that's just a flaw of me. I cannot do that, which is a problem. I get it. But
well, in my brain, it's like, okay, trying to save the galaxy or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about your sheep.
Meanwhile, I'm planting all the plants on the top of the.
Yeah.
Did you get that? Yeah,
absolutely
I'm doing that. I don't know.
So, yeah, I guess I should touch on that too. So, you have like kind of a hideout or whatever. I think the idea was really cool, dude. Mm-hmm. But this kind of bridges into my next point, which is like story and characters and stuff.
Yeah.
I do not give a fuck about any of these characters.
Yes.
It's just crazy to me. Like the main crew are really the only ones I care about. The new bounty hunter guy or whatever, jetpack dude, don't give a shit about him.
Yeah, he's the freaking Alenko of the Star Wars.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, they're trying to establish this buddy thing between him and, what's his name, Cal?
Yeah.
That just falls really flat for me. So a lot of the characters honestly just fall flat for me. I think Cal's fine. He's
the
like...
acting's all okay.
The acting's good. The voice acting's good. But like he kind of just falls flat for me again. Mm-hmm. Like he's nothing special. I don't connect with him a lot. I know they're like trying to... He's more seasoned now. He's been through it. Like even you see it in his physical appearance, like the scarring, the gruffness. But I don't know what it is, but no one really does it for me. And then you have the side characters. It's like, oh, you have new conversations at the saloon. I never do them. And you know me.
Which is crazy for you to do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know me. That's my favorite part of Mass Effect.
Yeah.
After the mission, back on the ship, let's talk about what just happened.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of the game.
Yeah.
And I have no desire to do that.
That's big.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I walked down, I just landed. Oh, hey, farmer lady, nice pig. Let's be friends. Now we have a relationship.
Come back to my
It's like, dude, I don't give a shit about that.
And again, I'm not nearly as far as you, but it's like the whole point was the group broke up, all for their own reasons and everything. And I feel like all we're doing is going and getting the group back together. And I don't.
That should happen in the first act.
That should either happen in the first act or it shouldn't happen.
Or in the prologue.
I remember feeling pretty bad whenever Mass Effect 2 came around, and it was like you really don't have your team. It's all a new team. It's just like that's just how that was.
Right.
It's growth. So for this to be like, hey man, we really need you back on the ship, or hey, like, yeah, maybe one or two, like, but it's just like let's go talk to Grease, and let's go talk to the librarian lady, and let's go talk to assassin chick that they're forcing you to have a romance with. And it's just like all these things that I either didn't remember from the first game, or it's just like, what are you trying to do? Like, can't we meet new people or do something? And maybe I'm just not there yet. But you have all of that, and then you have this like, here's your big bad, here's the threat, here's all this stuff. I'm just like, dude, I don't care. Like that could be ripped right out of Horizon, the way that they were going about doing it and stuff. And I don't know, like the stakes are there and they're trying to be there, but I also don't care.
Yeah, and I don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
It's just not good.
Dude, I've started it 2 or 3 times.
You know what I mean?
After talking to a bunch of people, and it's just like, what do I have to do again? Oh, I got to get in my ship and like go to I can go technically anywhere. So already it's like kind of this arbitrary, like there's no urgency or whatever. Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't want to.
Yeah. I beeline the campaign, which is why I'm way ahead of you. And it's definitely better that way. Yeah. I don't burn myself off on stupid side quest things. Side quests to me are exactly that. They're an extra portion of the game that if you enjoy a game enough, you're going to go do the side quest. That's how I approach a game.
Horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this is amazing. I want to stay in this world longer. I'm going to do the side quest. I'm going to take a hit of the quality of these, although Horizon's like a bad example of that because side quests are really good.
Yeah.
But like God of War, for example. I love this game so much that I'm going to do these like arbitrary side quests just so I can be as Kratos longer. I can stay in the world longer. I can learn more about the world. But you got to do that. That's only if you're in love with the game. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That's my kind of perspective on it. But
what's your cow look like? What are you rocking?
Oh yeah. So I do like the customizability, but I have not changed anything.
Oh, so you're just like vanilla. Like that's awesome. That's cool.
I'm a huge proponent of canon, and like they're gonna spend the most time with that model in mind, right?
Yeah, I mean, almost that's what he looks like on the cover of the game.
Where I was thinking about doing a single saber. I think this is what I did in the first game because when you get to the cutscene, he's using a single saber, and like I hate that kind of distinction.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, stories like whatever. I think the bad guys are fine. Actually, kind of interesting. And then some of the cutscenes are sick. So there's actually like this one specific instance that happens where you're like, I guess I don't want to spoil. I don't even know if you're going to make it this far, but you're like kind of flying through the air with Marin. She's like using witch magic or something. And you're like literally just like kind of flying through the air with it, fighting this huge Empire mech thing.
Okay.
And it's a fucking crazy scene. It was pretty, like I had a smile on my face the whole time. You should look it up if you're not going to play it.
No, I mean, I want to play it. Like that's the thing is like, I want to, and maybe that's what I just have to do is like get in there and be like, I'm only doing story missions and that's it. And
no, that's like that. Because I'm not going to go back. Like as soon as I finish it, it's like a Dead Space situation, although Dead Space is better than this game, spoiler. As soon as I finish it, uninstall. Yeah. Never play it again.
Yeah.
And glad I played it, but just going to be done with it. Yeah, like the cutscenes, the cinematic stuff is really cool. Like the lightsaber fights when you get to the cutscene, it's awesome. It's Star Wars. It's great. So, okay, I guess my overall kind of verdict of the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, how's the music? I mean, you're a big music guy, and Star Wars is usually pretty good.
Actually,
like,
you know what?
Stick out?
Yeah, so the music's very good. It has that. I don't know who did it for this game. I should have looked, but it has that John Williams feel, and especially those hype moments. And they do it visually too with like the transitions where they wipe the screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Although like you're doing it every time you land and not like every transition. Like if they did it more often, I think it'd be cooler.
A little bit more cinematic or whatever.
But I like the nod to that. Yeah. But I think the music really captures Star Wars well. I think I would say Hogwarts did a better job of capturing Harry Potter's world than this does of Star Wars, but it's still very solid, and I enjoyed and appreciated the music a lot.
Well, it's tough too because you're not doing like your classic Star Wars planets,
right?
Like you're coming up with the new stuff, and it's canon. I get that, and that's fine. But it's not like, oh, we're on Bespin, right? That's why a lot of the Star Wars games are like super cool, and that's why you're saying like, oh, you're on Coruscant, so like, sick. I recognize this place. This is a Star Wars place,
right?
Not, hey, you could lift this from literally like running around the first planet you go to, like where your hideout is and everything. I'm like, this could literally be Forspoken, really, like really, like it's like it's the same brown-ish palette of just like, here's your meadow, here's your whatever. I don't know.
It's more busy than Forspoken for sure.
That's fair. There's more to do, but I'm just saying,
it's
like,
a better version.
It's not.
Inspired.
It's not a Star Wars planet. I think that if you just threw it on a white snowy planet and be like, yeah, it's Hoth, like, I could wrap my head around that even. Or if it's Tatooine, I could wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
yeah. So, anyways, I guess overall, my thoughts were it does a lot of things pretty well.
Sorry, real quick too.
Sure. Yeah.
The first game, that opening thing with like the music he was listening to.
Yeah.
What a great intro.
Yeah.
I was actually bummed that the intro was not. That was super cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Like with the train.
Well, the train was after it, but like he was in like a shop or whatever, and he's listening to like whatever, and it's like the camera was swooping in and stuff. I'm just like, that's sick. And then it goes to the train, does everything, and like it's a great intro.
Yeah,
Coruscant's cool. I still think the first one was just it grabbed me a lot quicker.
I think I agree, but I think the first mission in this one's better. Like when you get to run around Coruscant.
Yeah.
And dude, pretty early on, I was like, "Are we the bad guys?" We're like, I'm over top of this group of stormtroopers. It's like, hey man, lunchtime. What you want to try out the new sandwich place? I'm like, holy fuck, these are just people.
Yeah, they're just people. Yeah.
And I just go down and murder them, and they were just gonna get a sandwich.
Yeah.
I felt bad.
There's a lot of times where you're just. I mean, like, and they give it to you. Like, there's just a dude like literally just sitting with his feet hanging off like a cliffside, just enjoying the view. Just asking to be force pushed off there and just plummet to his death. And
then, like, you know, they'll joke about it. Like, I don't know. I forget what they say, but I was like, oh, that was easy. Or like,
yeah.
Toasted those guys.
Yep. Yeah.
And you could see, like, when you read a book, like the one book where it's from the Empire's perspective and they're in the academy, like, they fucking hate Jedi and shit. Like, they just put, like, I knew my best friend from the academy got pushed off a skyscraper. Right. He was trying to get a sandwich.
Yeah. The only game that I think does it well is Tomb Raider. From the very first time that she kills somebody, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like, what happened? And then she's never, like, joking about it. But even Uncharted jokes about it. Everyone's like, oh, like,
I think Uncharted's a little different because like the bad guys are over the top, like classic bad guys.
Yeah, it's not apples to apples. Sure.
And he's like an Indiana Jones kind of thing. This is like, no, they were humanizing these stormtroopers.
Yeah,
they weren't this evil regime of clones.
Yep,
they were like dudes hanging out. They're on like real conversation. Like that was like. I was like, what the fuck?
Maybe it's just me, but like if there is like an opening like that where it's like this dude's just chilling here. And they want you to force push him off. Like they're begging for you to do that.
Yeah.
I'll be the guy that walks up to it and like dance around him until he gets up and like starts attacking me. As soon as they fire first, man, gloves are off.
Well, if I can sneak past them, I'll sneak past them. But I don't. That would break my immersion because it's like Cal would just fucking push him off. He's a monster though, dude. Cal Kestis is a monster.
He does not.
He doesn't take prisoners. He kills everyone he sees.
Yep.
I'm just saying, dude, like I know the Empire's bad, but the Jedi hypocrites, especially him. Anyways, verdict of the game. I think it does some things pretty well.
Yeah.
I think what it does well, it does like I really enjoy, and I think I got a lot of immersion from it, and it did put me in a Star Wars mood. Maybe not as much as it could have, but it did. So when it's running on all cylinders, I think it's really good. But there's just a lot of things where, like I said, I think falling flat is kind of the phrase that sums it up for me. The characters just don't get to that level that I want. The story's like whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess like some of the combat kind of gets stale after a while. I enjoy it because like I'm smooth brain, like simple guy, but I can definitely see like I mean, you've played like a quarter of the game. The combat doesn't get any crazier. Like you've seen pretty much. Yeah, you had some
and
things.
I spent
you
more
get some
time
cool
doing
things.
all the side mission, collecting everything, and not leaving an area until I 100% it.
I don't know. I mean, but I do think like combat, there's some really cool moments that you can create.
Like set piece stuff.
Set piece stuff, but like even just like I'll pull a droid close to me, a rocket will blow him off, and then I'll throw my lightsaber at the battle droid. Or like the dudes with the shields, you can take the shield from them and hold it in front of you, and you can use it as a shield and then throw it back at them.
Oh, that's cool.
And knock them down.
Yeah.
Like things like that are really cool.
I think I don't use my force powers enough.
The force is like one of the most like you gotta utilize it. It's just super like pulling them in, holding them close to you, stabbing them.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool and satisfying feeling. So yeah, I would definitely recommend doing that. And then like the executions are cool too. Not even close to like
contextual. Yeah.
God of War level, but cool nonetheless.
Do you feel like you should? Because you don't actually hit the executions though a lot of the time, right? Like he just does it.
Yeah.
Like it would be cool if there was like a stun or something that you can go in and like do it. Like just so you're like, I feel like a lot of what I'm doing is I'm just like flailing a lot of the time versus, oh, I know if I hit this, because you were talking like, oh, you grab a shield and there you deflect it with this droid and do all this. I never feel like and maybe I just need to spend more time with the game, but I never felt like it was like my toy box almost. It was like I'm just scrambling to like deflect everything, and I always felt like I was on the defensive versus the offensive.
Put it on easy.
I think I'm gonna be on easy.
Dude, you got to put this.
I gotta double check.
I'm a strong proponent. You put this game on easy,
Yeah.
and it just is so much fun.
Well, I know I compare it to Unleashed a lot, like the Force Unleashed.
Yeah,
but like Force Unleashed was you're in my world now, and it's just like a playground of just rag dolls that you're just like grabbing and throwing and doing whatever.
But that's like a super powerful Jedi. That's what it is.
It should be, yeah.
Right? So
I just don't feel like Cal is...
It's the wrong genre. It's the wrong genre.
It is.
For a Jedi game, it's the wrong genre.
Yeah.
But
100%.
Putting it on easy gets it closer to what it should be.
Yep.
And I'm just throwing people around. I'm just one-shotting people. And the only point in which that doesn't work as well is the bosses. So you take the hit there. Like the bosses aren't going to be as cool, but the cutscenes make up for it because like there's very few circumstances which you just kill a boss. Like if it's a big boss, you'll get them down to a certain level, and then there's a cool cutscene where you're parrying each other and they're doing all this wild shit, and it's like really cool.
Yeah.
So okay, sorry. You gonna say?
What was I? Well, I don't know. What was I gonna say? I don't know.
Okay, so just to wrap this up, scores. I guess I think I kind of covered everything.
Yeah. No, I think you did a good job.
Okay, score. Do you want to go first? Why don't you go first?
Well, so just for context,
when
we have this stuff, we see what OpenCritic is, we each score it, and then we do a combined score. Like, what does the couch say?
Yeah.
So OpenCritic gives Star Wars Jedi Survivor an 84.
Okay.
I am not there. I put a 76.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm actively trying to find what I like better about this game than the last game, and it's giving me a lot of trouble. I think visually it looks a little bit better, especially when you go back and compare it like side by side. But I think the first game was just that novel thing, and this one, like, I don't care about the characters, I don't care about the story. Technical issues aside, even though I dealt with technical issues. And the gameplay for me is just like it's very samey. Like you're just like, okay, here's a mob, kill it, move on to the next thing. And the area is so large. Like if you have to do this large area and it's like, oh, we give you mounts, like, okay, but like make it smaller then. Like why do I need this mount to traverse this large ass area for really no reason? Because it's like it's this big area that then you go into these like smaller zones, right? So it's just getting one place to another. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. So that's why I gave it a 76, where like I recognize functionally it's like it's a passable game. It's a quote unquote like I mean that's 76 is good. It's a good game.
76 bronze for us, or is that silver?
No, I think it's still silver.
Okay.
70. I think that's why I put it at 70 because it's like right
the first
right
silver
before. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that I definitely understand, especially if you have poor experience with the performance. That's obviously going to
It's just not my game too. So that's the thing is like, but go on.
I respect the game though, because I try to put respect on, well, I say that and it came out like super busted. So like, I guess grain of salt, but I think like I'm very wary of AAA games these days. And I think they did a solid job overall.
They fixed it quick.
Or fixed it quick.
Fixed it quick. Patched
and I think
quick.
like on the consoles, you're going to get the best experience, right? I don't believe it was very busted on consoles or
PS5. PS5 was busted.
A lot of problems.
Yeah.
Yep. Yikes. It's tough. I mean, this is what I ran into Cyberpunk as well, because I played just a better version. So it's hard because I didn't have that frustration. I'm thinking 82 for me.
Okay.
I think things it does well, it does very well. I was immersed at some points. Some things just felt really flat to me, but I don't think anything was horrible. I don't think anything was actively terrible that I was like, oh, this is disgustingly bad. Some things are boring, but the way I'm playing it, I think I'm playing it the best way possible
you
for
describing
me.
it, I think is the best way, where it's like, hey, the customization of your character. I like customizing my character's appearance, but you just playing like, no, this is who he is. Just go. I think adding all the stuff with your robot, adding all the stuff with your lightsaber, like changing the fit and finish of a lightsaber that is like half an inch on the screen seems just silly to me.
Yeah.
So like I think it's just bigger to be bigger.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is what God of War suffered from. It's like
just because,
yeah, there needs to be some more refined aspect to it. I think. I don't know.
No, I'm with you, but yeah, I think it's a solid game though. I think overall it's a fun experience. I'm glad I played it. I'm going to finish it. And 82 just feels right. I don't think it quite reaches 84. Like if you have that many performance issues on launch, and honestly the story is just not as captivating to me, and characters, which is such a huge part of what I look for in games, I just can't get it up there. But I think it's like in the silver tier. I think it's solid. I think it's above the 70s just because I think it's a really pretty game. When it runs well, it looks really good. I like the combat. I think you can have a lot of fun with it. And like I said, have these cool moments. So I think there's enough positives to get it up to that rating, in my opinion.
Okay. So as far as a combined score, though, now you played a lot more of it.
Yeah.
That I assume. I would have to look at my hours played, because I'd be interested to see. Like, here, let me, while you kind of hem and haw about it.
So I'd be willing to come down to 80.
That's what I was thinking.
But I'd feel bad at being in the 70s. I feel like it's just, that's kind of disrespecting the game.
Sure.
Because I do think it is good enough to get to the 80s at least. I really believe that.
And I think that's totally fine. So it looks like you have about 10 hours on record.
Yes.
For that. I was curious on what does mine look like? Which Steam changed their app, so I'm just kind of fumbling around it. I think 80 works for me too. Like I'm willing to come up 4 points for that. So here's something funny. I have 11 and a half hours.
Yeah.
Like playing it.
No wonder you're burned out.
Yeah, exactly. So like where I'm at story-wise, which is fairly early on,
you're in
far
like
behind
25% in.
I spent more time on that 25% than what you've played.
Yeah,
like
I'm
it's
just
crazy.
Literally grinding the campaign.
Yeah. So I'm playing it incorrectly,
but
I think.
Here's the thing. That should be considered, like, you should be able to play a game.
I think so.
In any way you want, and it have some sort of value and hook you in to the point where it's like, you know what I mean? And it obviously didn't do that, so that's worth consideration. But I was interested enough and enjoyed it enough where I think it deserves an 80, from my opinion.
I'm totally fine with 80. Like I could see getting there. I like the idea of it. With having your home base, with having like, you know, your people and whatnot. It's just like, it felt hollow.
100%.
Whenever you talk to somebody, it's like, oh, we need this at our base. Come hang out.
It's like the extra shit I do not care about. I have not engaged with it once.
Yeah.
Like I know there's like the bounty system as well, right? Where you can like get special unlocks for your pistol, and it's just like, I don't care. But the main story is good enough.
Yeah.
And the components of the main game are good enough where I'm like, okay, and I could see an 80.
Okay.
be a fair score for that.
There you go. Put it in.
Excellent.
It's not bad.
No.
I think it's fine. I'll be interested to see how this holds up next to, was it Outlaw coming out?
Yeah,
Because
right?
it's still the kind of ragtag group.
Yeah.
It's just minus your lightsaber. How does that work?
It's gonna be interesting. That trailer looked too good to be true, man. So we'll see.
I still think Battlefront 2 looks, Star Wars wise, that is the best looking Star Wars game.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The Frostbite engine works well with it.
Yeah, but the game not so much. Although I know they fixed it and it's gotten better, but
quote unquote fixed it, whatever.
Okay, so we wanted to talk about Diablo, but before that, it's been a while since we've assigned each other some goodies.
Yep.
I know we've been talking back and forth on this, so I'm excited for this one.
Yes.
Do you want to go first? Do you want me?
I want
to go
first?
Second. You want to go second?
You go
Okay.
first.
So I am going to be assigning Tyler a video game. This might be the first video game I'm assigning.
Okay.
And I wanted to preface this. Are we going long here?
We're right around 2 hours.
Yikes. Okay, I'll make it quick. So I want to harken back to an age where young John played this genre of games. Not a genre, but I guess a category of games called flash games.
Yeah.
So back in the day, a lot of your games would be on these websites that just have all of these flash games for free. And that's how you spend a lot of your days. And there were some pretty amazing games on these websites. So some of the most notable websites, just to take a trip down memory lane, was like Congregate was my favorite. But you have like Armor Games. The one we played at school was Cool Math Games or something like that. Cool Math.
Math Blaster?
Because it got through the filter.
Okay.
Because it was education.
Yeah.
But there's not any education to it at all. I'm forgetting some. I had a list up, but Armor Games, Addicting Games, of course, Newgrounds. There was like a stick games or something, all stick figure games, which I really liked, which this game's coming from. So there are a lot of great ones, and maybe someday we'll do a top 5 flash games because I'm very passionate about this space in gaming. It is like instrumental to my gaming development.
The problem with that though is flash games when I was into like as a kid in flash games versus where you are. I feel like there's a big
that would be an interesting conversation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because like I liked games like, I don't know if you've even played any of these, like Fancy Pants, dude, was a great game.
You rattle these off constantly. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, I'll have to show you sometime. Anyways, the game I wanted to talk about was originally Flash games. Came out as like this little Flash game on stick. What was that website called? It's like Stick Games or something. It's all stick figure games. It was like, I don't know. It was a weird time. But the game's called Henry Stickmin.
Yeah.
And it's this like little point and click flash game that was like, the original game was like 10 minutes long, 5 minutes long. And you're like breaking into a bank or something.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of sequels to the game. I think eventually there's like 5 games or so throughout the years that get more and more complex and more decisions and trees. That's kind of the point of the game. It's just a click, like you choose what gadget you're using to do X. And then you see what happens, and then you fail and you either have to pick something else or you succeed and move on to the next step.
Yeah.
And it's super simple, but it's so memey and funny. There's like so many references to pop culture. And I'm curious how it holds up. But you're an experienced fellow, so like it might be cool seeing all the like the old school references.
Yeah.
And it's just a super fun game, and
it has outstanding. This
is like one of my favorite Flash games of all time.
Very, very highly rated on Steam.
So, anyways, on Steam, they remastered pretty much the entire thing. All those games are combined into one called the Henry Stickmin Collection.
Yep.
And I told Tyler I want him to play it, but it was like $20, which is probably too much, especially since the original games are free. It's on the Steam summer sale now for like $7.
Yep.
Which I think's worth. I think that's good. A little over $1 per game.
Okay.
And I'm really excited, so I want you to play that. I don't know how long it's going to take, maybe like an hour or 2.
So you want me to beat the game?
Yeah, I want you to beat the game. I find it fun going through all the combinations. but you don't obviously have to do that. I don't even think it takes that long. Like the games aren't that long. Like I said, the first game's 5 minutes, and then they get longer as they progress.
Yeah.
But just play it however you want. I mean, like, just do however you want.
Okay, I mean, you'll be able to see how long it takes me to play it. That's
fine.
And
yeah, so anyways, that's my assignment for Tyler.
Okay.
So curious. So much nostalgia for that game. I might replay it myself to, like, just make sure I'm remembering all the nuggets.
All right. So you're going to hate me.
Great.
But I'm glad you mentioned that it was $7. So here we go. I'm going to hand you this $5 because the game I'm going to make you play is $12 on the Steam sale. So you have to get it on the Steam sale. If you don't, like that's on you.
I'm not taking your money.
Well, no, it's fine. That was part of the bit. That's why I was texting Chelsea. I'm like,
I was curious.
It's the same thing. So I'm handing him a $5. That's your $5. If you want to put it on chicken nuggets, whatever.
Dude, I'm not taking your $5.
No, it's fine. It's $11.99.
You rented the worst movie of all time for me.
Yeah, give me that back. I'm kidding. It's whatever. We keep going back and forth on what is the best Assassin's Creed game.
Oh fuck!
and I'm looking at all of these games, and I'm like, this one was cool. This is cool. This is cool. And Casey messaged it on Discord of like she was just naming like great games that she likes or that are near and dear to her heart, and Odyssey was in that list. And I'm like, look, this needs more respect. And I feel bad doing this because I know you're like jonesing for some Final Fantasy, and this is just a little rough. But what I'm going to do is you have to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm asking you to play as Cassandra, so play as the female. Like you get to pick if you want male or female.
Okay.
I think you should play female. I think that is the better way to go. You do what you want, but I would pick her.
Sure.
And I need you to get to the point, like you have to play the game to the point where you get the spear of Leonidas. It's not even Leonidas. It's they do all like the Greek pronunciations and stuff.
Yeah.
So Leonidas, where you are literally like taking the spear, throwing it at somebody, and then teleporting to the spear.
Ooh.
So gameplay wise, it's just like
very cool.
It's fairly early on.
Sure.
You have to get to that point.
And then I can
And then you can uninstall a game.
Perfect.
But I would love to see like just the interactions and stuff and the way that she interacts with people and like her voice actress and everything and like just the game in general. I think it's a gorgeous game still.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like you have to get to the point where you're like there's literally ship combat in there. There's whole like war, like you can literally fight with the Athenians or the Spartans and like literally dictate the geopolitical atmosphere of the entire like continents and different things like that. There's a lot to this game. I just want you to get to the combat of check out how wild this thing is.
Oh, Tyler.
I'm sorry, buddy.
I gave you a 2-hour thing.
I know.
Gave you like a 60-hour thing.
No. So I'm not under any preconceived thing that you're going to spend 60 hours on this. You might. Never. Who knows?
Right.
But there is so much in there from the it's not to the level of Lord of the Rings, but like even like that system of there are bounty hunters constantly coming after you. You kill them and you actually move up in the mercenary rankings and stuff like that. And there's just so many little systems. I need you because like you always say like the Assassin's Creed 2 is the best Assassin's Creed, whatever.
It is.
From a baseline, sure. I love Brotherhood.
Brotherhood is. Yeah.
I think gameplay wise, like Odyssey it's not even close.
All right. I have to
I'm
play
sorry.
it.
Yeah. So
I have to play it.
I don't know how many hours that is.
Ooh.
I'm guessing between 3 and 4.
Well, I'm cutting it off at and then if I want to play more, that's on me. So
100%.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Henry Stickmin, the Stickmin collection.
I think it's over at the 11. So we gotta buy these like today.
Love to see the budget difference in these games.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing, and the thing that I was gonna say,
millions, and the other is dollars.
$20 is not like that. If it was $20, again, I probably wouldn't have made you pay 20 for something.
Yeah,
I think that's a steal for this game.
Still?
Yeah.
This game's been out for years.
Easy. This game plays better and looks better than a lot of games that have come out.
Sure.
I think this game actually looks better than Jedi.
Ooh, okay. Interesting. By a lot?
Scenery, like you were talking about the scenery.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
Like there are those gorgeous
It's
moments.
right in my brain.
I think the story is good. You're a stickler for family and how all that works.
They do call me Dom Toretto.
Yeah.
For a reason.
I'm sorry, buddy. I
Okay,
had to. I was looking at it. I'm just like,
look.
It popped up on my feed. And I'm like, $12 for a game that could last you 100 plus hours, easy. Like
it won't, but
it won't.
I
but
might beat the game.
Very,
We'll
very
see.
good.
We'll see.
I don't think you beat the game.
I did need a game for Game of the Year. That's my favorite game that didn't come out this year. So that I don't think I've played one. So that might be like the default.
Sure.
All right. Interesting picks. Interesting picks. So stay tuned for the results of that. Really curious how you feel about mine. I'm sure you're equally as curious how I feel about that shit. I'm just kidding. I have no. It's just I'm like a angry Assassin's Creed purist.
Let me put it this way.
That's not Ezio, and this isn't Assassin's Creed, and this and that.
A lot of the BS of like going back into the real world and stuff, and how they got away from all that. Like, there's it's just not. It's there, but it's not really in this.
Okay,
and
that's good.
It's just pure fun gameplay that is just. It's wild what you can do in it. And it was one of those things whenever the Viking version came out, and I was like, Valheim or whatever it is, Vanguard, I don't know, Assassin's Creed, what was it?
Yeah, I think one of those. Yeah, Valheim. Yeah.
But I would play it, and it would be like, this is not, like, did I just misremember Odyssey? Went back, played Odyssey, I think we talked about this, and then I played through all of Odyssey again because it was that good compared to the new one that came out.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
All right. Big hype.
Big time hype. I know. It's just what a sandbox to go around and like you like the Lord of the Rings one. Like this is way more involved.
Is it better than Lord of the Rings? Shadow of Mordor?
Yes.
Wow.
Because I think the story is better. I think there's more to do. And selfishly,
so it's like a top 5 game of all time for you.
I'd have to check my thing, but it was up there for sure.
Lord of the Rings was in your top 5.
This might have beat it.
Wow.
For Lord of the Rings.
Insane.
I'm just looking up real quick.
I forgot that we actually ranked it. So
yeah.
Okay. Well, interesting picks there. Speaking of top games, we did have a little bit to discuss on Diablo, but we'll make it quick. I know this episode is running long, but we haven't seen each other for a while.
25 real quick. Sorry. Hold on. Oh no. Assassin's Creed Odyssey actually was 26th. So it did not make my top 25.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway,
you're
all video games.
Overhyping this is insane.
The top 26 is pretty good.
That's very good.
Yeah,
but you just said it's better than Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah, well, I think I don't. Shadow of Mordor is not even on there.
100% it is.
No, it's 28th.
Wow. Okay,
I put it above Shadow of. Yeah,
I think your initial version, Shadow of War.
It was, and then I was
higher.
like Metal Gear Solid kept.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Would you, because you didn't do Metal Gear Solid 5 yet.
No.
Would you rather play Metal Gear Solid 5 or would you do Assassin's Creed? I think Assassin's Creed gets to where you would want to be.
No,
faster.
I'm good with Assassin's Creed. It's already etched in.
It's done. Okay, fair enough.
I'm going to play it. I'm going to love it. It's going to be, I'm going to forget who Ezio even is.
Do you like ancient Greece? Like, do you like the whole Spartan?
100%.
Okay.
I just don't think that's Assassin's Creed. I think it's a different game. I think you just got to slap a different title on it.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just an annoying purist.
And that's totally fine.
Where I want to just spam the parry button, watch Ezio do amazing.
Buddy, this is better. This is
of course it is
objectively better. Combat
Brotherhood came out fucking 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Whatever, 15 years ago.
Yep. This is also it's like a looter stabber.
Yeah, looter stabber.
It's so good. Looter. Anyway, all right. We'll see how far you get.
So anyway, speaking of greatest games of all time, Tyler's favorite games of all time, Diablo 4 was a game that came out.
Yep. I could rank that right now. I could rate that. I could give it
This is what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Because I get notifications when you update our Notion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I saw what you gave Diablo and was shocked.
You were shocked?
Shocked.
Okay.
You gave it an 80.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
I think that is generous.
That's fucking shocking.
Yeah. So they came out with the fireside chat or whatever that they do, and they're just like, okay, here's the season stuff.
Yeah.
Talked about the season. Talked about the battle pass. And it's like, oh, here's some cosmetics of existing things, right?
Yeah.
Now, I've talked about where are the pets? Give us pets. There's no set items. There's no nothing. So the only thing they're doing on the season, aside from like getting cosmetics and doing different stuff, is you get like there are certain enemies in the world that you can fight. It drops a corrupted heart. You say, I want to cage this heart. You fight a bigger version of that enemy, like a stronger version, kill it, take the heart, and now you can socket it into items that are supposed to drastically make you overpowered.
Okay.
That's the season.
Oh. So the season's going to suck.
I don't want to say that because I obviously got to play it and see it. But like in terms of, what are all these things that they're going to do? They just kept saying like, hey, it's only been 5 weeks. That's a fair thing. But pets have been in Diablo for a decade and a half. Like,
right.
There are some things that are just missing, and it just seems like it's like, what? Like, this is maybe not the best thing in the world as far as like you would think your first season is going to be what you put the most time and effort and everything into, because like this is supposed to be like, hey, here you go. This is what Diablo's all about, guys. Like we were holding back, and now look at all this extra crap we can give you. And I'm level 86, which apparently is like the halfway mark to 100 experience-wise.
Yeah,
now I'm tier 4. I'm soloing like high-level dungeons, getting everything, but it's just like I hate running dungeons. I hate it, and that is the entire end game of this. Now they did some things where, like, you know how we did, like, did you do Helltide with us? Right?
Yeah.
Like we were finding this. Like,
yep.
So you can do Helltides, and that's a little bit more lucrative now and things like that. But like Helltides only show up every 70 minutes. So like what you want to do, like I'm a little disappointed with it, I think, if I'm being honest, because like, do I think that it has a somewhat better campaign-ish? Sure. Am I burnt out of the campaign after helping you, helping John, helping Zach? You know, it's just like, I'm kind of burnt out.
Fair.
So it's like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I think 80. I said 80s being good. Like my heart is like, you should do 79, but it's hard to give it a 79 when I've put as many hours into it as I have already. It's just like a grinding game. So now I'm at the point where I'm listening to podcasts and listening to audiobooks while I just grind dungeons. The difference is, as I'm grinding dungeons, there isn't like a dungeon I enjoy doing. It's like they all suck. Because they're all templated. They're all the same. There's no, at least Diablo 3 was randomized for better or worse. Like you could get good ones, you could get bad ones, but like you had the ups and downs. This is just a plateau of, I know exactly what I'm going to get. None of the things are changing my gameplay in any meaningful way. Like I just hit this wall of like, short of starting a new character, which I have no desire to do right now. I don't know. I just like, I don't know. I'm cool on it where I'm like, I'm ready to play something else. So like Henry Stickmin, awesome. Sign me up. Like I'm there.
Probably the opposite experience. Yeah.
Diablo, I think there's still some life in it if we get everyone to the same level and play. But then that's like, you're at what, 50, 60 range or something like that when you've played it. And it's like, cool, got to grind you up 20 levels. So either you just have to be bored out of your mind sitting in like super high level dungeons where
I'm not going to have time.
Exactly. So it's like we're at this
like I have to play Final Fantasy for like 60 hours. And now
same here.
This Odyssey game.
Well, I know. And that's why
I
kept going back and forth on the Odyssey one, because it's like having two big games like that is rough.
The good news is there's nothing coming out in July that interests me.
Yeah.
So I have this whole month.
So I did. I do have a couple things.
Well, before you do that, let me give you my
ahead.
Rating for Diablo 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So we are after listening to what they're bringing into the season.
I'm good to rate it because I don't know how much more I'm going to play of it, honestly.
Yeah.
Just with these things we have to do, but I think I have a good grasp of it. We start gold at what, 86?
Yeah.
I'm at like 85, 84.
Okay.
I think the campaign's solid.
Yeah.
The voice acting was extremely well done.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the characters. I thought I was just going to know no one. But I was like, oh, yeah. Well, I can't remember his name now that you put him on the spot. Doran.
Donan.
Yeah. And his kid, Lilith, the angel guy. Okay, I don't know the characters' names, but I know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, I was just going to be like, who's this guy again?
You followed what the motivations were.
I was so ready to be bored out of my fucking mind with the campaign, and I felt myself, especially as we get towards the end of it, being like, oh, wow. Hey, oh, yeah, okay, I remember that guy. I remember this guy.
Yeah.
So, I think the campaign was pretty solid, honestly. And the gameplay loop, I really started to come around to like, oh, I can see what makes these kinds of games, what people love about these games. Like, is this my favorite type of gameplay? No. But I did, from where I started to where I ended, it was a remarkable difference.
Yeah.
I was so not excited to play this fucking game. Like, the premise of it sounds terrible to me and awful and super boring. But as I leveled up, as I got more, the more time I spent into it, the more time I enjoyed it. And by the time I got to 50 and I was like starting to make those connections and like understanding how the mechanics work and the systems, it was really cool. I really liked putting legendary specs on my items and seeing how powerful that made me and like seeing the build come together.
Yeah.
Really cool. And super like, I think the aesthetic of the game, they just nail. It's like super creepy. I was talking to my brother about it because my brother has never played a Diablo, but he has a very specific memory of my cousin playing Diablo 2.
Yeah.
And he was like a little kid at the time and just having nightmares about it. So I was like, yeah, I mean, these games are really creepy and blood.
Yeah. That's all it is.
That's all it is. It's just blood. So
yeah.
I think it's a solid game. I think people make a really good point that understand this genre more than me. And I think there are some disappointing aspects to it. That's why it's not in the gold category for me, along with the fact that like this isn't my favorite type of game. Mm. But I think people are a little harsh on it. And I'm really curious where this game's going to be in a year or two. Because I think it might be in a much better place. And people will be like, oh, yeah, like 89 makes sense. Which is the like Open Critic score, I think, at 88 or something.
89, yeah.
So I feel good at like an 85. Did we rank Octopath?
I'll put 85 on you. We did not rank Octopath.
Because I think that's in the ballpark. Similarly.
You feel about Diablo kind of like just not game to game, but just in your heart, like this is kind of what you feel.
I think they're in a similar spot, just rating wise, honestly.
I got you.
So I think like 85. So, you know, obviously that's going to come down with the couch score, but that's kind of where I put it. I think people are being a little harsh on it. They're not recognizing the good of it. I think they do a lot of things.
I think I am
as a new player
because, right? and I think that's the main point, right? So for me, I love Diablo 3.
Right.
I love where it, let's call it where it ended. All the quality of life things, everything. It's awesome. The gameplay loop was awesome. It felt really good to do all that stuff. So I think the reason why I'm judging it so harshly is I'm really struggling to find aspects of Diablo 3 that I like more than, or I'm sorry, Diablo 4 than I like more than Diablo 3. So like I think the gems are worse. I think that the Paragon system is okay. The fact that there's a level cap is crazy. The fact that it's always online to me is kind of crazy. I understand why they're doing what they're doing, but it's not like a major thing. And I think overall it causes more performance issues for me than it's like, oh, this is cool. We met in the wilderness and killed a world boss. Sign up for a world boss. I don't know. Like they figure out a different way of doing it, but
right.
like I feel like it's just it's hurting more than it's helping. I think the Helltide's really cool. I personally don't love the system of creating your own legendary items because I think it cheapens when you get that legendary drop or when you get a side item or a drop or whatever, when you see it pop up, it's like, that's super cool. I think they had a different system in Diablo 3 where it's like you can pull aspects from legendary items, but then you put it in this called Kanai's Cube, and you get the max bonus of that thing, which also feels really cool. Where this, it's like, oh, you got a legendary, cool, but it rolled stupid, so like garbage and stuff. So it's just there's a lot of things that like I think they nailed in Diablo 3 that it's like it's a curious choice of what they did in 4. I think the skill trees look cool.
You have to consider this though, Tyler.
Yeah.
They are reaching a wider audience, much wider audience.
Absolutely.
Like it was crazy going back to like my family reunion thing. And they're like asking me, you know, what I'm doing or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm still playing games even
Sure.
20 years later. Yeah. And they're like, oh, what are you playing? I say Diablo 4 and everyone. So like when you're talking to normal, quote unquote, more normies and you say like, oh, I'm playing League of Legends. They're like, what's that? Or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
But you like, you have your Call of Duties. They'll be like, oh yeah. Or your, I don't know, Zelda or something, whatever, or Mario or whatever. But Diablo 4 was another one where it's like, I'm playing Diablo 4. I'm playing Diablo. Like a lot of my cousins were playing Diablo 4. Yeah. They're not really gamers. Some of them are more than others.
Sure.
But my point is, it's reaching a much wider audience, a more commercial audience. And you got to consider that they're making a lot of these decisions that, yeah, as an experienced player, you might disagree with or not understand. But for a new player like me, it might be easier. You know what I mean? So I think you got to kind of keep that in mind.
Sure. And that's why it's like, if we're talking like couch score, I'm fine meeting you at 84.
I mean, we can come down. I think that's a...
But I don't know why we necessarily need to... Because like, as much as I'm bitching about it, I've put more time in Diablo 4 than any other
but is that
game
obligation, though? Like,
no,
oh, Diablo 3 was one of my favorite games.
I could have... Dude, I was by myself for a week, right? I could have started Final Fantasy at any point, but Diablo is just that, like, hey, I really don't want to dive into this, like, epic, story-driven, crazy thing. It's like, it's just a comfort thing. It's just like,
it's your league.
Yeah. So...
I mean...
I don't know.
My point is, I think your perspective as a veteran player is very important. So I'm willing to come down a couple points. I just think 80 is too low. I think the foundation of this game, and it's only going to get better, theoretically, is solid. And like people need to take a step back. Because I think when it came out, I think people were super high on it. And I think the end game obviously is lacking, which I know you say and a lot of other people say like that's where it's all at. But as a new player, I had a lot of fun actually doing the campaign. Didn't feel like a chore to me, and I had a lot of fun figuring out this new gameplay element, like loop and elements like that I've never experienced before. It was fun.
And seeing you kind of like the light bulb goes on of like, oh, I understand why the grind is fun or why this loop is fun. Like John's super into it. Yeah, and that's the thing is like that's why we got him to tier 4 last night, and he did his first hell tide and everything, and he's like gonna start doing some dungeons, and we'll boost him. I think that could be really fun is having a group of people all the same level to really challenge and push dungeons and be like, okay, can we overcome this like really tough one? That could be really fun where you actually have to like, okay, we're gonna go in this dungeon with like a bunch of spiders. Let's all like gear up with like poison resistance and crap like that. I think that's kind of neat.
You're playing an MMO.
100%.
Because that's the raid.
100%.
That's the raid.
That's the problem, though, is like...
You're a secret MMO fan.
maybe.
You literally just described a raid.
MMOs...
I want a group of my friends. We schedule a time we get on, and we do this really challenging thing where we have to coordinate and plan and do this and that.
Yes.
You're an MMO fan. You're a betrayer.
Don't put that...
You betrayed me.
I like, let's call it like an 83 even. Like I'm willing, I guess what I'm saying is I'm willing to come up more than 83 I think
83 sounds good.
Pushed down. But like my cousin loves it. Like everyone that is playing it loves it and is enjoying it and whatnot. It's just I'm personally struggling, and maybe that's just like the nostalgia type thing.
Yeah.
But it's like it's almost like an Assassin's Creed Odyssey situation where it's like I need to go back to 3 and play it and like, am I just misremembering it? Is it too simple? Is it not good enough? It's just they do all these little things of every city you have to run for 30 seconds to get to the blacksmith, then go back to your stash, and then go back to the jewel. And it's like all over this thing.
Sure.
It feels like it's just...
Yeah.
I want to be faster. I want to be like it's just slow.
That's a very MMO thing. Like that reminds me.
Camera is too close. Like little nitpicky things, you know.
Yeah, that kind of thing reminds me like RuneScape.
Yeah, it's like
just running all over town.
do
Grand
this
exchange, this that. Yeah. 83 is fine. I think it's low. You know, I think 89 might be high for OpenCritic, but I think it lives somewhere in the mid 80s. That's just
does it have potential? Yes.
Yeah.
But hearing them talk through the season though, and how I'm like I think if it comes out the 20th, I know we mentioned this, but if it comes out the 20th, I don't care. Like, yeah, I'll play it, but it's like I'm not like calling off work to do the new season. You know, like it's not. They didn't show anything that got me hyped for that.
Yep.
I don't know.
Makes sense.
I mean, they made a new character, like some Blood Knight or something, which is the first new class since the Crusader way back in, I don't know, 2012 or 14 or something like that, which is a big deal. People were more excited about that. That's an Immortal, the mobile game, rather than the actual.
Gross.
But that's the thing is, like, you know, I don't know. It just seems like Sea of Thieves does a better job at. Here's a new season. Here's all the stuff you can do. It's nuts. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, sweet. So I gotta find it again. Okay, so 89 is OpenCritic. I'm gonna say 80. You're saying 85, and we'll go to 80. We say 83.
Yeah.
For the couch score. All right, 83 it is. Done. Let it be so. Did you want to do Octopath? I mean, we're 2.5 hours now.
Yeah, I can just
maybe let's give Octopath an actual
little breath.
Review. Yeah, well, that's fine.
Because I played a lot of that game.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like it deserves more.
Yeah, I
attention.
should talk about it.
Okay.
All right, so I think that's it. I think that's it for us.
Yeah, we can talk about like what we're doing. I got some games I want to put on a list to play through, but we can talk through it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. Longer episode, but we've been apart. And we just miss each other.
Yeah, it's been forever.
So we're just reminiscing, catching up, talking about aliens. That took a lot of time.
Aliens and Star Wars. You get down those two dark holes, man, and you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, thanks for listening. If you made it this far, we appreciate it as always. Check us out, couchcompany.games. All of our links are there. At CouchCoGames, if you want to go on Twitter. Take those polls, man. I think we got some good polls sometimes, except when Tyler does it, then it's weird.
I was just trying to help you with
but still, I appreciate that.
And technically, Des came up with it, not me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
She asked me. I gave an answer, and I'm like, we gotta ask the
people
world.
Think. Yeah. And stay tuned for next episode. We'll be here, same time, same place next week. Thanks for joining us on the couch.